Sullivan. Council President Gamble. Council President James. Council President Rivera. And Council President Morgan. Very well. Councilperson Bocciano. Yes. Councilperson Saleh.
Probably vote aye. You guys are like the park superheroes, and you really make Jersey City so beautiful with all your efforts. And I also want to thank Mark Wesson for coming up to Leonard Gordon Park. I did a morning communicate with the trees because like he would touch it and he would know it's like hurting. He's like, this one has to go, and he was right. So just want to appreciate your connection to nature and trying to spread that connection to everyone else's. So I vote aye.
Councilperson Saleh.
My colleague said Ambassador President of Parks Super Church, so much for your dedication for safety, your volunteers, and all the county establishments to make sure these cities a better place, especially, Mark, Alan, everyone from Friends of Maine was part of the park is still be the gem of the city. You guys put so much hard work, your heart is over today. Genuinely, you're so great. Appreciated by 10 first time. And then I was going to want to especially recognize like Brad on the guest living past point. So much. I'm proud of that.
Councilperson Goodwin.
I vote aye. Thank you for looking at the parks. It may seem like something like minor, just little people on the outside looking, but it's something that's very important. You guys keep a close eye on it. Many of you send a lot of emails as it relates to everything that's going on in the park. But it's truly an honor for, people to really take pride in beauty our parks. And, a lot of you guys don't get the recognition you deserve, for doing this kind of work. So I'll proudly vote aye. Thank you.
Councilperson Gies.
Thank you for all that you do and for taking pride in our open space here. I vote aye.
Councilperson Rivera.
I mean, both of you guys, both of these entities are amazing. I want to speak a little bit about Van Vost Park. I grew up playing baseball in that park, and there's an area where faces the local library, and there was a director by the name of Priscilla Gardner. That woman hated us because in order for us to hit a home run over the home run didn't count if it went over the gate. The home run counted if you broke the window of the library. So, that was growing up in old Jersey City. I really do appreciate what you guys did with the park. I proudly vote aye.
And Council President Waterman.
I want to congratulate you. I want to say thank you. Coming into office in 2013, trying to get Berry Lane Park finished. I know that was a tough decision because a lot of times you guys have to agree to where the funding goes. And I know that was a challenge, but we wanted to get that park finished. And you guys, y'all seen the hard work that was taken over the years. Because when we took office, it was like almost 12 or 13 years that park was under renovation. And so you guys had a lot to do with us really funding that park to finish it. And not only that, when I go around the city and I see these little side parks, I know you guys had your voices out there to make sure some of these parks got finished. So we're in a day and time where people don't know the importance of sustainability and how important parks is for our quality of life. So I want to thank you for always being an advocate, because we see it more and more. Without good green space, we are in trouble as a country. So thank you, thank you, thank you. And with that, I proudly vote aye.
Resolutions 25-603 and Resolution 25-604 are adopted unanimously. Congratulations.
Thank you so much. On behalf of the Jersey City Parks Coalition, we couldn't do this without your support, Mayor Phillip, all the previous mayors, as well as the BA's office. We have so many people to thank. We have forestry, we have infrastructure, we have health and human services. The list goes on and on. Just to let everyone know in the audience, it's not just park restoration or protecting open space. It includes programming for our children, seniors, and for veterans. And without those grant dollars and your support, letters of support, we couldn't do this without you. So thank you so much.
And could you just state your name for the record?
Paula Mahayosnan. MAHAYOSNAND. I'll add the Stein, Stein, STEIN. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any?
Thank you very much for the acknowledgement from the mayor and city council. Really appreciate it. All the hard work we put in there for 26 years, making a little oasis,
Bring the mic a little higher.
bringing an oasis to Jersey City. Hopefully the community appreciates what we have there. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Forgot to add recreation. That's so key for us. Thank you.
Yeah, just stay right there. They're gonna do a picture, so.
Paula, come right in the middle. Is yours, Paula? So you can hold this open. Then Mark, you stand right here, and you can hold this open. Council will kind of come in and fill it.
Excuse me, if every,
Hi there. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jim.
You're welcome. How you doing, Laura? Thank you very much. Yes. Thank you. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Thanks. Rich. Appreciate it. Thank you. That's, yes, exactly. We're, they're with us. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Okay. Returning to the first order of scheduled business on the agenda is the consideration of these first reading ordinances, whose titles I will now read into the record. But before I do, I believe the administration wishes to withdraw agenda item 3.1. Is that correct, Mr. Horton?
Correct. As discussed with Stalikis, we're going to withdraw it.
Okay, very well. So agenda item 3.1, which is ordinance 25-095, is withdrawn. Moving on to agenda item 3.2, ordinance 25-096, an ordinance amending chapter A 352, enabling ordinances of the Jersey City Municipal Code, commemoratively designating Bentley Avenue from John F. Kennedy Boulevard to West Side Avenue in the city of Jersey City as Walter R. Lazinski Way. Agenda item 3.3, ordinance 25-097, an ordinance authorizing the execution of documents amending and releasing certain restrictions imposed on block 15801, lot 5 within the Jersey City Medical Center site to allow for its redevelopment. Pardon me as I change the view. Agenda item 3.4, ordinance 25-098, an ordinance amending chapter 218, multiple dwellings, section 12 of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Jersey City by adding subsection 3, mandatory disclosure for rent increases. Agenda item 3.5, ordinance 25-099, an ordinance amending and supplementing chapter 260, rent control, of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Jersey City to clarify the scope of state-level exemptions. And lastly, agenda item 3.6, ordinance 25-100, an ordinance amending and supplementing chapters 218, multiple dwellings, Chapter 260, Rent Control, and Chapter 254, Property Maintenance of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Jersey City to establish mandatory minimums for violations of housing-related ordinances. Council members, I'm going to be taking a vote to introduce agenda items 3.2, 3.3, 3.4, 3.5, and 3.6. How do you vote? Councilperson Ridley.
Aye for introduction.
Councilperson Hewlings.
Aye.
Councilperson Bogiano. Councilperson Saleh.
I'm going to vote aye for all. Conditionally for 3.5 and 3.6, there needs to be a concerted effort to have a discussion with the prosecutor and also the Division of Housing Preservation, which hasn't happened. So I'm going to vote aye for it on the condition that this conversation is going to happen. As to enforcement, because there are serious questions as to how this can be enforced.
Okay, Councilperson Solomon.
Aye for introduction.
Councilperson Gilmore.
Aye for introduction.
Councilperson DeGeez.
Aye for introduction.
Councilperson Rivera.
Aye.
And Council President Waterman. Agenda items 3.2 through 3.6 have all been introduced unanimously 9-0. Moving on to our second reading ordinances. Please be advised that there is a public hearing on every second reading ordinance. Anyone wishing to speak on an ordinance may do so, and each speaker will have 3 minutes to address the council, but those remarks must be limited to the ordinance under consideration. That said, the first agenda item 4.1, ordinance 25-086.
John,
Yes.
apologies. I think Councilman Maureen has a comment she wants to make.
Okay.
I have to make a correction and abstain on 3.3.
Okay, duly noted. So all the items up for consideration for first reading were approved unanimously with the exception of 3.1, which was approved 8-1 with Councilperson Hewlings abstaining. Sorry, 3.3. I'm sorry, 3.3. Sorry. Thank you. Okay, where was I? Okay, so the first item on the second reading list is agenda item 4.1, ordinance 25-086, titled an ordinance of the Municipal Council of the City of Jersey City adopting amendments to the Journal Square 2060 redevelopment plan and the St. John's redevelopment plan. We will now have a public hearing on this ordinance. Anyone wishing to speak, please line up in front of the podium. Please state your name for the court reporter.
Yes, good evening, everyone. For the record, Charles Harrington of Connell Foley. I am here, in follow-up to.
Bear with me 1 second. I'm trying to get this thing to work. Hopefully the batteries were.
Was Sean absent?
Going to be, pardon me. Bear with me, folks. I'm very sorry about that. Okay, here we go. 3 minutes started. Sorry about that.
Okay, no worries. Thank you. In follow-up to what I discussed on Monday night, I'm here on behalf of the property owner of lots 15 and 49 in block 7903. As part of this amendment, we're requesting that those lots, in addition, one of the adjacent lots, lot 16, be remapped as zone 3. The reason being is these are just outside the Homestead Place extension area, which have all been developed under zone 3. So it would give these properties an opportunity to be zone consistent with them, because everything in that area has been done that way. I have I'm here on behalf of the property owner, and I also have consent from the owner of lot 16, which then provides for a larger parcel that can be developed. Now, as I stated on Monday night, the planning department and the planning board did not recommend this to the city council. They had concerns about the shape factor, the shape of it. But I believe, adding lot 16 into the mix, and then there's an adjacent lot on Van Ripen that my client is in talks to purchase the property, would create almost a rectangular or a square lot, which I think then would be appropriate for the development. So we are asking for this amendment. We believe that it would be a minor amendment because it only involves two property owners, both of which are consenting to the request to be included in the remapping. And when you compare it to the overall scope of the redevelopment plan area and the number of properties and property owners, I think it's a small percentage. So we are respectfully requesting that be extended. There is some other remapping within that's part of these amendments from zone 4 to zone 3. So we just asked that lots 15, 16, and 49 be remapped to zone 3 from zone 4. My client sent over an email later this afternoon. I don't know if the council members had an opportunity to see that. I do have copies of it if the council would like to see that for their consideration.
Madam Council President, do you wish to have an opportunity to question? No. Okay, we'll move on to the next speaker? Yep. Okay, thank you. Thank you, sir. Sir, come on up. State your name for the record.
My name is Mike Wastev.
Spell your name, sir. No, we'll start.
Mike. Last name is Vasdev.
Oh, sorry.
That's too fast.
Yep, yeah, yeah.
Want me out of here?
This is reprogrammed by someone. I don't know who that is. That's annoying. Okay, now there you go. Sorry.
Good evening, council, and I'm here on behalf of what Chuck just addressed. And I've seen that area is particularly coming up good. We should support this. Reason being is what zoning had an issue has been all rectified, as Chuck just stated. And I know the builder myself. He's a brother of mine. He's not going over 28 stories. He's sticking to 27. So he's adjusted and he's complying with this, with the height of the building. One. Secondly, that area is coming up good. We need more housing. We need more affordable housing there, which of course, if you see the other homestead zone is not given zero housing, zero affordable housing there, where we comply or my partner complies to give at least 10% of that. So I think you should vote yes for that, and he deserves that as an all right. Again, thank you. Please vote yes.
You want to state your name for the record?
Natalie Limon. That's Lim as in monkey, O-N as in Nancy. I'm asking you to vote no on this. I'm not surprised there's not more people here to ask you to vote no because it's very confusing. The idea of an affordable housing bonus sounds like a very good thing. But it's an incentive. We get a small number of affordable units that are the rent rate is controlled by the mean area income. It creates an incentive for areas outside of Journal Square proper to be aggressively developed with high-rise buildings in a way that without these amendments would not happen in the same way. That also puts rent-controlled buildings at risk, which is something that is foreseen here, where there's a section about replacement of dwellings subject to rent control for affordable housing. This is not an equitable switch. Rent control has rent that's limited 4% a year. It's a fixed rate. Whereas affordable housing, the rent rate is based on the average of the income around us. As we fill the areas outside of Journal Square with more and more luxury towers, we rapidly change the area media income. We rapidly gentrify areas outside of our downtown proper, outside of our Journal Square proper. And I really resent that this is a decision that people are having to be, I resent that we have to undergo this as a community in order to receive affordable housing, which is something that should be a right, and there should be other ways to achieve it besides just letting the developers do all of the work. I know the state mandates a certain amount of affordable housing, and it seems like the only thing the city is doing right now to comply with that is to work with the developers to let them do the work for them. What are your other creative solutions for affordable housing that do not have to do with a height bonus or a parking bonus? What else? We should not have to choose between rapid gentrification and affordable dwellings for people. And it's really just a small amount of dwellings, and they only are affordable until we change the economy rapidly with the massive demographic switch that we're going to see. How are you going to prepare to take care of the people who are going to be hit hardest by the changing market when we bring in so many new residents of a different demographic level? How are we going to make this city a place that everyone can stay in? And this is something that is going to rapidly make it more difficult for people living outside of this main area to continue to be here as the area median income rises so quickly. Please consider voting no on this, or at least consider having more conversations. I do not think that most people in the community understand the implications of this amendment. Thanks.
Sir? Just state your name for the record, sir.
Edward Perkins.
Just bear with me as I hopefully the 10-second runoff does not work. There we go.
I wanted to say I was at the caucus meeting, and just where my final thoughts are is essentially I just want to co-sign what the young lady before me said, everything she said. You know, if you all are going to vote to switch this from zone 4 to zone 3, and then it also says planning is considering future amendments to zone 4 to mandate affordable housing. So, Councilman Rivera, I'm not like educated on it all, but every zone should have mandated housing. I mean, the need is so bad, you know, so like wherever we're going to develop housing, there should at least be some affordability there, first of all. With this, it's saying zone 3 would require 10% of affordable housing for projects over 30 units. So 10% is only 3 units, and that's just not enough. Like, you have to do better than that. That's just not enough. And then this is indicative of what's been happening across the city and is still happening. It is gentrification. It's once this comes up, what are the 1-bedrooms going to be? What, you know, what's the cost for a 2-bedroom or 3-bedroom? So, you either, you know, you support as much affordable housing as you can. You know, stop dealing with developers and getting nothing out of it for us. I can't wait. There's 60 days left before this election. We have so much at stake, but either you vote no now, or you just, you know that the people need housing. We need more affordable housing. So you do what you can to make sure that we get that. Thank you.
Kindly state your name for the record.
Hello, good evening, Council, and good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Arjumand. Arjumand, Arjumand, last name Juveria, Juweria.
Okay.
Basically, I'm a pharmacist by profession and a community activist. Um, I would like to know why the planning division decided to skip this property while changing the nearby properties to zone 3, just a few houses down the street. And as per Sunny, he has talked with the property owners on Cottage Street and Van Ripen Avenue about combining their properties to create a square lot and meeting planning requirements for setback. This concern was raised in planning, and now it's been resolved. And I'm not aware of any more concerns or objections from planning. So this is my thing. And say it's thank you.
Good evening, Council. This should be.
State your name for the record, then we'll start.
Excuse me?
Just state your name.
My name?
I know who you are. Just state your name for the record.
Oh. My name is Laverne Webb Washington.
Here you go.
Again, Council, I appreciate you people. I think this is a no-brainer. When they want to go from a 4 to a 3, so we can have affordable housing. This should be a no-brainer because we need all the affordable housing right now we can get. Right, Councilman, Jones Square Councilman? Don't we need some affordable housing up in that way? If they could do a building this size, I think it'd be good. This is in Jones Square, right? Am I correct?
Right, Jerome.
We had it passed 10% in journals.
I was saying with a building this size, I think it's a no-brainer, going from a 4 to a 3, so we can acquire some affordable housing in that area, because everybody can't afford the high end right now with the way the market is going, jobs are going. We need this real bad in that area. And I appreciate this council. We really need to think about it, what they want to do. I never seen a developer like this that goes from a 4 to a 3 just to inquire, not about the height, about the building and what you put in the building. I can't say enough when they built downtown here, when they was made to put affordable housing down here in the first 5 floors. And this stuff needs to go on to the day. When developers building big units like this, it should be a requirement they put affordable, at least 10%. Thank you.
You have another speaker? Just state your name for the record, then we'll begin.
Hi, good evening, Council. My name is Rochelle Hoffman. I'm here today. I'm going to share some information that was given to my organization. I'm co-founder and director of a nonprofit community organization, We Care Movement, where we have housing care matters for our constituents and Jersey City residents that's experiencing homelessness here. So if you could just bear with me a little bit. So I'm going to use this as an anonymous text because I did tell him that I was not going to reveal his identity. And this is what I was sent Thursday. I've been homeless, staying in a motel for months. Now, almost a year. It's one of the hardest things that I've ever had to go through. Every day is a battle, and every night I go to sleep hoping tomorrow will be different. The days blur together. I don't have a stove or a proper way to cook, so I eat whatever I can, mostly junk food, and it's taking a toll on my body and my mind. My thoughts are cloudy, my energy is low, and it feels like my brain can't catch up with my heart. But please hear me when I say this. I'm not sharing this because I want anyone to feel sorry for me. I'm not looking for sympathy. I don't want pity. I just want to be honest, because sometimes honesty is all I have left. This isn't a cry for attention. This is just my truth. I try, I really do. But sometimes it feels like no matter how hard I push, I'm stuck in the same place. It's not that I've given up. It's just that I've run out of solutions. I've exhausted everything I know to do. And when I lean on others, it's not because I want someone to fix it all. It's because I don't always have the clarity to stretch to face this alone. There are nights when I just sit in silence, asking myself, why me? Why this long? Why is the end? But even in my lowest moments, I still hold on. Sometimes it's just barely, but I hold on. I know that I have a good heart, and I know that I'm alone in my pain, even if it feels like sometimes. I've been humbled by this experience in ways I can't explain. I've gained empathy, patience, and deeper understanding of what it means to survive when everything around you feels like it's falling apart. Anyone who's been there for me, who suffered even a kind word, who offered even a kind word, a little guidance, or simply listen, thank you. That kindness doesn't go unnoticed. It gives me a little more strength when I feel like I don't have any left. I believe there's something better waiting on the other side of this, even if I can't see it clearly right now. And until I get there, I'm doing what I can with what I have. This is a young man, 25 years old, who went through the foster care system, who's been homeless, who's struggling since he's been a youth. He's been living in a hotel for over 2 years. His resources have ran out for him because he's a single male. And although social services have done everything they can for this young man, but this is what we're faced with in our community. Young individuals and family who is facing homelessness because they can't afford to live here. Thank you.
Just state your name for the record, then we'll begin.
Hi, guys. My name is Tina Knowles. Yes, I work for Education at Gilmore, but I'm speaking upon myself. Education at Gilmore, you already know we should say no for this. We should freeze for a minute about building any property right now unless it's for low income, not 10%, not 3-unit, low income. You see right now, you just told me, Tina, stop calling you because you keep paying for people hotel. This is what's going to keep constantly. I'm going to have to keep calling you for you to pay. I'm just now on the phone with Jerry Walker and Mr. Mazza and Bill O'Day because I have a lady, just like you said, staying in a hotel with 5 kids, staying outside right now because they won't put her back at the hotel. I don't understand why we keep developing more stuff and not development for people to live. I don't know if y'all want to wipe us out, what y'all trying to do to us, but we got to stop building right now and find a key of getting these people somewhere to live. Do y'all see it? Do you constantly? I'm texting you constantly. I'm getting phone calls. This is the number one on my phone calls. Text message, the same thing. Or people calling me about Ms. Webb said the same thing. This is a problem. We should not be going through this. We are not the leader. Y'all are the leader. They should be calling you. What I'm going to start doing, putting everybody's number on Facebook and start telling them to hit your number because apparently y'all keep building and building and building no low income. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Pam Andes. And I hear you, Tina, and I hear everybody. There are people who are struggling, who are dying out there, being pushed out, people who have lived here for generations, and there is nothing that they can afford in Journal Square. But let me tell you the truth about affordable housing. Affordable housing is not affordable at $1,700 for a studio. That is affordable housing. Okay, that's 50% over the area media income. And that's what's happening with these affordable housing in Journal Square. So the people of Journal Square spoke. But you know what's going to happen? The developers are coming anyways. And so what can we do when the developers are coming? We have to draw the line. And this bill draws the line and says, stop killing neighborhoods. Stop giving bonuses, because that's what affordable housing is. It's a bonus for developers. Stop it. Keep it in certain areas where the buildings are tall. And the councilman had several meetings. I know some of you were, there was over 150 people on one of them, and then they broke it down into smaller group meetings. So it's not perfect, but vote yes, because this is what the community asked for. Keep boundaries, keep the lines, keep the developers at bay. Because if we don't do anything, it's going to happen without us. So rent control, where are you? You are the true affordable housing. So we feel you. Keep up the fight, because that's where the real people of Jersey City need to be. Rent control. Thank you.
Good evening, Chris Perez, Perez. I just want to echo all those statements. You know, Jersey City opened up Pandora's box about 10 or 15 years ago, and we've basically created a gateway that is receiving so many people into this city. And one of the consequences that comes with that is that it heightens the cost of living. So as we create more boxes, for the most part, they're being filled by people that are more affluent and have more means. So the way that we're doing affordable housing right now really isn't working. We need to come up with better ways, be more strategic, think out of the box. And as someone said before, the only real affordable housing is affordable housing that has rules around it. A new building just opened up in my community at 500 Communipaw Avenue. We were promised affordable housing when it went before the planning board. And here, 4 years later, a one bedroom is $1,850. A two bedroom is, I think, 22 or 2,300 and change. So we've really created an issue in this city with all this development. What we really need to focus on is who are these boxes for? They're not accommodating the people that grew up in this city, and we need to do better. Thank you.
Is there anyone else coming up? No. Is there a motion to close the public hearing?
Motion.
Motion made by Soleil. Is there a second?
Second.
That was Rivera as second. On the motion to close the public hearing, how do you vote? Councilperson Ridley?
Aye.
Councilperson Hewlings?
Yes.
Councilperson Bogiano?
Sean, I have to say something. You want me to hold off?
Yeah, we
Okay,
just.
okay, I'll vote yes, yes.
Closing, yeah. Okay. So on the motion to close the public hearing, how do you vote?
Yes.
Bogiano? Okay. Councilman Soleil?
Aye.
Councilman Solomon?
Aye.
Councilman Gilmore?
Aye.
Councilperson DeGees?
Aye.
Councilperson Rivera?
Aye.
And Council President Waterman. Motion to close the public hearing adopted 9-0. You had something you wanted to say, Councilman?
The city planning and the community have had several meetings on this amendment. The amendment before you is, the amendment before you has been proposed together by planning. In response to the comments at caucus, I asked city planning several times if the additional properties could be restricted and redistricted, and city planning said a hard no. At this time, I've been advised that the planning department said they are against any additional changes. There are other redistricting changes that the community wanted, but city planning did not include it. People also asked the parking ratio to be changed, but city planning did not include it. I am committed to keeping this an ongoing review, and I will sponsor another resolution, basically amendment. I don't want to see this amendment get held up any longer. It's been being worked on for months and months and affects quite a bit of an area. But there will be changes coming, and we're going to be having future meetings. That's it, Sean.
Okay, thank you, Councilman. Unless there are any other questions or comments from the council for final consideration of ordinance 25-086, how do you vote?
Wait a minute.
Okay, one second.
Peter.
Just want to clarify one point. I think it got a little confusing to the council. This amendment is based on recommendations from the council, and they asked to study the 2060 plan. They met with the community groups, they met with the councilmen, they made the recommendations, it was approved by the planning board, and this is bringing this back. These recommendations in this agenda item is primarily to affect some of the parking issues. It's going to increase and include affordable housing in those parking requirements. It's also to fix the art walk and to address some split zones that weren't properly zoned. The earlier statement you heard from the attorney for one of the developers, that was to add an additional amendment into what currently exists.
Right.
That would require a vote by council if they want to include that or not include that. But a vote on this doesn't change any of the affordable housing ratios or anything to that nature. It's based just on what planning worked with the council and the planning board to pass.
So Rich, as this is your area, as it relates to the 4 parcels or the parcels that was left out, what is your position?
We're working with planning. We're going, as I said, we're going to have a change to the amendments and try to get a new amendment passed. I have to sit down with planning again. This has been going on for several months, this whole.
But the thing is that as a council, we have the authority to include the parcels that's being left out. Now, I'm just saying, for me, looking at it from the outside, right?
Correct.
For me, it's concerning that we're going to take an area, designated an area of redevelopment, and then exclude areas within the area we're designated for redevelopment.
Well,
Right.
there's reasons why planning did certain things. They're trying to preserve certain neighborhoods. They're trying to preserve 1-family to 4-family homes. And as I said, we're going to sit down, we're going to work this out, and we're going to get this solved. But the people.
Will we table it, Rich?
Assume, I would say, let's pass it and then work on a new amendment now. I'm going to sit with planning next week with Tanya and them and try to get something solved on this whole issue. But if we turn this down, we're talking about months and months probably before it comes back again.
But it wouldn't be fair to the portions that's left out, because this council, we done changed by then.
There's a lot of sections that have been changed. As I said, there was a meeting with 150 people, and the people they were in a rage about a lot of this development going on. I think that.
Can we make a motion to amend this right now?
It's a major change. You can't do this.
It would be a substantial change. Have to go back.
That's substantial to add a parcel in?
Yep.
Yeah.
Multiple properties and you're changing the zoning and giving them a bonus. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. This is why I'm saying.
It's against planning's recommendation as well.
We would be given bonus.
Pass it and we'll work on it and we'll get this whole issue solved.
But the problem is.
Why can't we table it and bring it back?
Yeah, we have to be fair. Everyone have that, I'm just confused as to why an area that's in the zone can't get the other bonuses that the new establishments are getting. I'm trying to think from a logical perspective to see what.
Let's sit down with planning and let's talk about it. Got to find out why they did what they did.
I'd like to motion to table.
Okay, there is a motion made by Councilman Rivera. Table. Is there a second?
Okay.
Was that? There was a second from?
It's the same.
We did public comments, so go.
Okay. Right, it goes back.
Bring it back in.
We can bring it back. Okay.
So there was a motion to table made by Councilperson Rivera. Was there a second? Second by Geez. All in favor of tabling ordinance 25-086? Councilperson Ridley?
Aye.
Councilperson Hewlings?
No.
Councilperson Bojana?
No, I think it's a mistake in tabling it. We're going to go on for another 6 months with this issue and it's going to battle.
Okay. Councilperson Saleh?
No.
That's a no. Councilperson Solomon?
Aye.
Councilperson Gilmore?
Aye.
Councilperson DeGeez?
Aye.
Councilperson Rivera?
Aye.
And Council President Waterman?
Aye. The reason why we agreeing to table it is because we have a question that there's certain parcels that's left out in this amendment. All right. Now, based on what's happening, and this council may not exist, why we're tabling it, because they can go back to the drawing board and have this conversation next week to start the ball rolling again. You can get it through planning, okay? The conversation can be had, and by November or so, we can bring this back. That's the way we seeing it, because we just don't think it's fair, and no one's really here to give us an answer. They just keep saying, let's just pass it, and then we'll go back, but we know this council be done changed by then, but by us not passing it, they'll get to the table now.
Motion.
I just want the public to understand exactly what happened, because you guys was coming up here talking about affordable housing, but we was talking about a portion of the land that was not added in this amendment plan. That's what this question is with the council. Why? Okay.
Okay, ordinance 25-086 has been tabled 6-3. Moving on to agenda item 4.2, ordinance 25-087, an ordinance of the Municipal Council amending the Fayette Broadway redevelopment plan. We will now have a public hearing on this ordinance. Anyone wishing to speak, please line up in front of the podium. Please clearly state and spell your name for the court reporter. Is there? Okay. Wait, I think there's. State your name, sir.
Michael Manzo.
Okay, you have 3 minutes, starting now.
Good evening, council. We have a project that I'm going to refer to as the Puccini Project. It's located on Broadway between Giles and West Side to Fayette. And the people came to the community, I guess 4 years ago plus, and they wanted to build something big. When we reminded them it wasn't Journal Square, it was Marion. But nonetheless, let's hear what they had to say. And the project included a big building, but we told them the facades would be good coming down Broadway to be equal. We don't really have big intrusive buildings. So we asked them to maintain the facade coming down from Tunley Avenue going west onto Broadway, which they agreed to, and have the big building set back. So because they lost units in the front, they agreed to put these units, or asked to put these units, and make a taller building to the rear. Putting a big building in the rear made sense because not only it deflected noise coming into the neighborhood, it was least intrusive because you wouldn't see it as you came down Broadway. All made sense. Then it started getting a little hairy because they said they lost a lot of density. They'd like to know if they could go a little higher. So we talked about that. And then there's a sandwich place, Salamaria Ercolano, that was across the street. And there's another building that was used as a sewing, and then the banquet hall. So we said, what are you going to do with that? They said, oh, we're going to leave them. Natal, the owner there at the Friend after Pasquale, he's our friend. We want him to stay there. We're not going to touch that. So that sandwich place has the parking on Corbin Avenue. So while this construction is going on, they have the parking in the back. Corbin Avenue also houses a temple, a house of worship in the rear, which uses Corbin Avenue in and out. And then a little more on the east side, there's a rear entrance to 127 units that originates on Van Wagenen Avenue, but they come out the back garage, also uses Corbin Avenue. And to top it off, there's a stone wash place, 5 stories with wash machines with stones. Actually, stone wash jeans happens there. Been going on for a long time. It's a small street. Getting back to the building, they say, all right, we're going to preserve all of that. We're not going to touch that. Let's go back to the building. We don't have that many units. Can we go a little higher? So after they said, well, how about if we do 2 towers in the back? Oh, wow. Oh, 2 towers with a couple more flights. What are you talking about? He said, oh, maybe 11 stories, maybe 13 stories. If we do that, we'll give the downstairs, the community could come in like a little park. They already took West Side Avenue. So 476 units. I said, oh, wow. 175 parking spaces. That doesn't sound too bad. So he said, you know what? How about this? How about that? Maybe it's time we give it a try. Let's see what happens. So we had a little bit in the community discussion. With all of that, we're concerned with a lot of things. So we gave it a try. I even came to the hearing and said, hey, if it goes the way these guys say, it might not be a try for Marion. Been here all my life. Let's see what happens. And the talk of the pet station's been there since I was in diapers.
Thank you.
Out of time, sir. Sorry. Anyone else wishing to speak? State your name for the record.
Natalie Limon, L-I-M as in monkey, O-N as in Nancy. Mike has been great. He just took you into the weeds. I'm going to take us out of them a little bit and help you really get a picture of this. Also, hopefully all of you received my email, which detailed this situation. But I'd also like to get into it a little bit so that the community present knows what it is we're talking about tonight. basically everything that Mike told you is that we got behind, we supported the developers and the variances that they needed and various things, negotiations. We all came to a common understanding for the first phase of this project, which is what anyone can see when they're driving down Broadway. It's almost done. But some of those conversations were based on, like Mike said, promises about what was going to happen with phase 2, which is the lot next door, which is where Puccini's and Ercolano's is. And in the original plan, the one that's being amended tonight, it is clearly stated that that will be retail only. And that is what the community was promised and was very excited about. The community was very excited, feeling secure that Ercolano's was going to remain, which is not just a great restaurant, which everyone knows. It's actually a vital meeting space. When Mike says the banquet hall, he's referring to Puccini's, but Puccini's has been closed for a very long time. Ercolano's Deli is one of the largest around. It is pretty much the place for not just Marion, but the surrounding Journal Square to have funeral repasts, parties for firefighters, politicians, police people, churches, and more. And so when they talk about relocating Ercolano's, which is really a bait and switch because the community would never have gotten behind them years ago if we had any inclination that they were thinking of later demolishing the building. We're also losing a community space. We've been told that it will be relocated, but there's no guarantee that we're going to be given the same type of square footage that serves as a vital community meeting space. On top of that, they have not been good neighbors. They've made multiple misrepresentations about the way that they've reached out to the community over time. I organized the only real meeting we ever had for this in May. We had a really good turnout. I sent you guys the sign-in sheets and signatures of people who are demanding a traffic study because of the issue that's going on with Corbin Avenue, which dead ends at the Sikh temple. We already have a huge traffic problem with the temple, and we already have a luxury tower that has ingress and egress. This tower would also need it. We have all on the same place. We have asked for a traffic study. The developers say they are not obligated to provide one. They say we'll provide one after we get the approval. Well, what help is that? We need a traffic study before. Finally, there have been union protests in front of this place. I guess they're not using union labor. Mike has sent you guys a bunch of pictures about numerous violations pertaining to street closures and other construction issues. I think if we look at this all as a whole, this is not a development group that deserves to amend their plan to build another luxury tower when they told the community that is not what they were going to do. Please listen to us and at least table this.
Sir, are you looking to speak? Okay. Just state your name for the record and then we'll.
Robert Fu, last name is spelled F as in Frank, U.
Okay.
So I don't really have a prepared statement. I just want to lend my support to what Mike and Natalie have just asked for. I think we need to protect and save our community institutions like Ercolano's. We need to preserve our history, and we need to preserve our common spaces. Thanks. That's all.
Council, just state your name for the record.
Eugene Paolino, the law firm of Genova Burns. I represent owner developer here. I think there's a number of issues that we previously discussed. Let me separate them out quickly. One is there have been complaints that you've heard about the construction going on at what's called West Side Square. It's the west side of vacated West Side Avenue. The end of West Side Avenue is a vacated street. It's where Puccini's used to be. So on the west side of it, the left side of it, as you're facing north, it's there's a project going on there that was approved and is being built pursuant to that approval. Project required it to be stepped back somewhat from the railroad tracks, which travel east-west, because there was an intent to have a path train station there, and we wanted to make room for that. The claims that there are violations here by the contractors is not true. There are no violations that my client has been served with. We have an indication. My associate can give you an email I sent you earlier today showing all of the things that my client has done over the course of the last year and a half while construction is going on. I sent you an email with a plan that's been carried on over the last year and a half, but is also continuing and is being added to. Can you, would you accept this to look? I've sent it to you earlier today. I just thought you might want to have it in front of you today. Okay.
Pass it out again.
So let me continue while that's being going on. I'm careful of my time. The matter before you is an amendment to the redevelopment plan. There's a redevelopment plan that was passed in December of 2024. An application to change that plan or to add to that plan, to be a part of that plan, took place in March of 2024 by my client, months before. The planning division had a number of issues that they wanted to get clarified, and principally there's a plaza or piazza in the between a vacated West Side Avenue. They wanted that piazza to be surely and confidently built, so they needed to make changes. And therefore, they proceeded with the redevelopment plan that was sponsored by other developers. And my client's portion of the plan was held up because my client would be doing the work at the plaza area, in the piazza area at the vacated West Side Avenue. So that was resolved relatively quickly, and the matter went to the planning board. Planning board heard testimony. The planning division supported the amendment. The amendment was very small, and it only related to what was to be constructed on the Puccini site. I'll call it that.
Just hold on one second, Counselor.
Up.
Gene, could I ask you a question?
Thank you. Yes.
Need you to be very blunt with me. Natalie from Ercolano said that he was under the impression that he was going to get a lease, and he had a meeting with the developer. I'm not sure if you was part of it. And the conversation was that, yes, he would get a lease. Does he have a lease with the developer now?
This lease?
Does he, when was that done?
This lease is a blank lease.
Is it signed?
It's not signed, but it's not signed because Mr. Natali hasn't signed it yet. The lease was negotiated between his attorney and the attorney for the developer, ready to go. Apparently, the attorney had some red line changes he wanted to make, minor changes, not business changes, but there is a lease and there's a commitment by the developer. And I'm making it to you here that Ercolano is not being forced out of any delicatessen business. He's going to continue with what the business is there. We don't want him to leave. We wouldn't want him to leave. He is, in fact, an essential part of that community. So all I can tell you is it's a very, very favorable lease for Natali. And I've discussed it with him as early as yesterday afternoon, and he was prepared to sign it at that point in time. His attorney has been slowing this up, and I think it's going to be done probably within the next week. So that concern is not existent as far as I'm concerned. By the way, the issue that was raised earlier was that, that Natali's, that the Ercolano is located in a historic building. That building is going to be preserved. It's not going to be demolished. It couldn't be demolished because there's preservation requirements that was established in the redevelopment plan by the planning division, specifically with respect to that building and an apartment building, which is uninhabitable, which is also going to be preserved. So you have two preserved buildings on both sides of the vacated portion of West Side Avenue. You have a plaza. The developer's contributing Corbin Avenue, which he owns. He's given it back. He's creating a public plaza. And there are multiple community benefits, not the least of which there's a huge contribution to water and sewer lines in the area made by my clients. So
Thanks a lot, Gene. We can't go all night.
Okay.
We can't do this all night, Gene. We really can't. We can't.
Motion.
To close.
That's it. Thank you.
Public oh, wait, there's
Think
more.
somebody
Sorry.
other speak.
Okay.
Oh,
My bad.
Could everyone who's planning on speaking just line up so that it's very clear that they're going to be speaking on this?
On the topic,
Right.
please, on the topic.
And just state your name for the record.
Arvinder Singh Minhas. Arvinder, middle initial is S or Singh. Last name is Minhas, Minhas.
Okay, your time's begun.
Good evening, everybody. I'm also one of the developer in Jersey City and firm believer that this city is doing a very well in supporting a lot of developers, a lot of affordable housing and everywhere. So this project that is being here is part of the redevelopment, which was done by us in that area because we were also the one of the redevelopment initially that brought to the council last year and it got approved. And they're adding this in there. I'm well supportive of this one, but there is something I see which is missing, which really bothers me. When we brought this development plan, we have contributed $1 million into the development of the area. But I see that this addition is happening without any dollar contribution into the same redevelopment plan. When we went to the JCRA, got it approved, there's a contribution of $1 million that is being given as per the JCRA to develop and initiate the bridge that's there, make a new bridge and also the area. But in this one, I have not seen a single dollar being initiated for any improvement there. That's my only concern. If it is a plan which was brought by us and we got it approved through the city and somebody's coming in there, they should also contribute either to the community benefits there or to Jersey City. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, my question to this council, I was talking to Mike, we were talking about the project. And he was saying the residents gonna be responsible for the water and sewer line for this building. Can somebody give me some update on that? Huh? You said what?
Vern, no, that has nothing to do with.
Nobody can
residents.
what?
It has nothing to do with the residents being responsible for the water.
You don't have,
coming out of this
development don't have nothing to do with
You
this.
get a bill.
Yeah, but
Bill, right.
he's saying that the residents gonna have to pay for that. For that area when they do this. Am I right, Mike?
Listen, Mike, you and Laverne can go on the side and talk, all right?
Ain't on
We
the
do-
side to
Right.
it's that his
You
project
feeding her-
in his
you feeding
area
Laverne.
is going
Right.
up and
Right.
he's saying they're responsible for the water
Right,
bill.
it's not, it's
And the sewer.
not, it's not,
Are
Laverne.
you sure of that?
Yeah, this is about
You
the
get, no,
redevelopment.
you
Yes,
guarantee
I'm sure.
that when this project
Right.
ain't gonna affect the people that live in it, they ain't gonna pay nothing.
He would have to pay his own water bill. You could rest assured of that. Don't worry. All right? This is something totally different with this redevelopment plan. We trying to figure this out with Pacini's. All right? That's what we want to make sure, that Pacini's still around.
State your name one more time, sir.
Edward Perkins. I stand with Councilman Baggiano on this, and you need to vote no. Obviously, his community is against this, and all of our communities should be against this. This is just another development on steroids. I'm being told from members of the community that this developer came in and gained the community's support, the community's graces to move forward with this project, and now they betrayed the people. The project and the plan, they betrayed the people. The council owes it to this ward and to all of us to listen to the people, and also to stop selling us out to these developers and getting very little in return. All right? All right.
Chris Perez again. From the little bit that I'm learning about this
Go ahead.
project and the pieces that I know outside of this meeting, I'm very concerned about not doing right by the community. This is starting to remind me a little bit about a project on Monticello Avenue a number of years ago, where the developer had the community's backing. The community supported a higher building, and then the developer totally baited and switched the community, and the community was very upset. So before you make a decision tonight, I suggest tabling this or saying no, and let's find out exactly what's going on, because if the community was promised something and the community offered their support in exchange for something being given back to the community, that should be done in good faith. Thank you.
Thank you.
Sir, state your name for the record.
Raphael Mandelbaum.
Okay.
I'm the developer for the project. I thank you for being here tonight and allowing me to speak just for a few quick minutes. I would like to note a few things. Number one, this is an amendment to an existing redevelopment. The project began before the redevelopment plan was ever even a thought in anybody's mind, and at that time, there was no thought of the possibility of developing. The redevelopment plan was started by others, and we were asked if we would like to amend or at least attempt to supply an amendment to that plan to fit within the plan that was designed by the city planning, the planning department. And our plan does exactly that. It takes into account both feedback from the community at the numerous community meetings. I did go around the room, give everyone my personal cell phone number. I think the responses back from people to me and to the public call-in numbers that I provided and our stellar construction record with the building department should speak volumes for what actually is happening at the property. Taking into account the feedback from the community, we've done everything humanly possible to make this a project that really can benefit Jersey City in many ways, including the piazza being widened, setting the building back, providing affordable housing. We've already spent hundreds of thousands of dollars beyond our fees to improve the MUA's pipes and have committed to do even more than that. So over $500,000 in improvements to the pipes beyond all fees that we have to pay. And all of this is being done within the RDP that we are looking to join based on the city planning's plan that they envisioned. It includes preserving the historic. In terms of Natalie and Ercolanos, I personally spent every ounce of energy I humanly can to try and help Natalie move into the new space, providing him lease and terms that are far better than any commercial tenant can possibly imagine, as well as assisting him in visualizing and understanding the potential that I really believe, I honestly, truly believe he will be phenomenally successful in the new space. And I really hope that he can make that move. I don't own his business, he does. And now it's all up to him for him to take the courage and move forward. I hope that you have the same, and we'll do that because I really do believe that this is a phenomenal project for the city. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Iván Ovalle. So I ask you to put, yes, I, B as in Victor, A, N, Ovalle, O, B, A, double L, E. So I please ask you to vote yes on this project. I believe it's a great asset to the community. I don't want to see any more of my friends being left out simply because we're not building enough housing. I think it already includes a good amount of affordable units. It will be a great deal to add for the community. And I think some people got it wrong. When you don't build enough, you get priced out.
Thank you. Thank you.
State your name.
Megan Wilkie, Wilkie. Good evening, Council. I'll keep this brief. I think everyone here agrees that we have a serious housing problem in Jersey City, and what we disagree on is what to do about it. I absolutely respect what a lot of people have brought up tonight, that these new buildings, their market rate, they're not serving our most vulnerable. I first moved to Jersey City in 2019 as a tenant attorney. I saw people throughout the city facing eviction. However, we need more housing at all income levels. This project, as my understanding, is that it has 36 affordable units. If we don't build it, there's 0 affordable units added to our housing stock, as well as the market rate units. That means 36 families don't get into that housing, and that means market rate renters are now competing with the rest of the people looking in Jersey City for housing. So I'm here to speak on behalf of this, of building more housing in general, and I think you should vote yes on this project. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Motion.
Motion made by Gilmore.
Second.
Second.
I think Waterman was the second for that. Vote was close. On the motion to close the public hearing, how do you vote? Councilperson Ridley?
Aye.
Councilperson Hewlings? It's just to close the public hearing.
Close it.
So how do you vote? Okay. Councilperson Bogiano?
Aye.
Councilperson Saleh?
Aye.
Councilperson Solomon?
Aye.
Councilperson Gilmore?
Aye.
Councilperson DeGees? Councilperson Rivera? And Council President Waterman. Okay, the motion to close public hearing passes unanimously. This is ordinance 25-087. So,
Don?
yes.
Can I say something? I inherited this, this was became part of Ward C, most of this area here. And over the last 2 years, I have received numerous complaints from the church, from the religious Coptic church, not the Coptic, the sheikhs over there. I've received from the people in the neighborhood. It's one more situation here. And being honest with you, I'm disappointed in this council because it's the neighborhoods are being destroyed. They didn't keep their promises. I was at one of their meetings, I believe. The other meetings were on the Rita and Joe's, I found out. But they've had numerous complaints with this developer. I'm constantly getting complaints about them closing the street, constantly complaining, issue after issue after issue. And it's time the city starts wising up and saying no to a lot of this, what's going on. And until the issues are solved with this developer, by the community, by the church, and by the residents over there, most of the residents, this should not be passed.
Yes, I think, I think in light of, receiving information that initially the developer have obliged to do certain things. And I don't know all the full details. I do know the history of development in Jersey City. I know that much. And we've seen this act before. So in light of all of that, I think we should motion to table it. I'm going to make every effort to come to this next meeting. I'll tell you that much because I'm very interested to see how this dialogue look with the developer and the community. I know the councilmen have had concerns as it relates to, I guess the previous or the one that they doing, the property that they're doing now. So I think in light of all of that, I want to make a motion to table it.
Okay. A motion to table made by Gilmore.
Second.
Second by Councilperson Hewlings. On the motion to table ordinance 25-087, how do you vote? Councilperson Ridley?
Aye.
Councilperson Hewlings?
Yes.
Councilperson Bogiano?
Aye.
Councilperson Saleh?
I vote aye. I have a lot of concerns about Ercolanos and, Ercolanos is the equivalent of like home, it's love, it's community, it's a gathering space. And for as long as their future is uncertain, I can't vote on this. So aye.
Councilperson Solomon?
Aye.
Councilperson Gilmore?
Aye.
Councilperson DeGees? Councilperson Rivera?
I'm sorry, my mic was off. I vote aye. I do want to co-sign about Ercolanos having a lease set before we vote on this. I also will attest to the early construction and the road closures. I have friends and family in that area. I hear it every day. It happened the first day of school. The road was closed and construction was happening at like 7:30 in the morning. And if it was voted on today, I was a no. That needs to change. And if it happens again, I have somebody looking every morning telling me one more morning and it's a definite no, no matter what.
Okay, Councilperson Rivera?
Aye.
And Council President Waterman?
Aye.
The ordinance 25-087 is tabled unanimously 9-0. Okay.
But what I want to let the audience know, we table both amendments, but there's space now for them to go back and have a negotiation to see if we can resolve it, because these can come back. All right. So you really have a 2 weeks period to go back and to resolve the concerns that was placed here today. And the concerns are the community. They want to make sure that the agreements that was, agreed upon, there's something in writing to say it. But when it come back to us, we're going to ask the same question. And if it's not addressed, then we will vote it down. So that's why we're tabling it. Okay?
Joyce, what the issues come down to is the fact that neighborhoods are being destroyed, developers don't give a damn, and people are just disgusted with what's going on in the city.
I get you, Rich.
I'm sorry.
They have to go back to the community.
Our next agenda item is 4.3, ordinance 25-088, a franchise ordinance granting permission to 88 Regent Street LLC, its successors and assigns, to have private improvements in the public right-of-way of Regent Street adjacent to the property located at 88 Regent Street in Jersey City, New Jersey, identified on the tax maps of the city as Block 14002, lots 1.02 and 1.06. We will now have a public hearing on this ordinance. Anyone wishing to speak may please line up at the podium. Motion to close the public hearing made by Rivera. I believe the second was Council President Waterman. On the motion to close the public hearing, how do you vote? Councilperson Ridley?
Aye.
Councilperson Hewlings?
Yes.
Councilperson Bogiano? Councilperson Saleh?
Aye.
Councilperson Solomon? Councilperson Gilmore?
Aye.
Councilperson DeGeez?
Aye.
Councilperson Rivera?
Aye.
Councilperson Waterman?
Aye.
Motion to close the public hearing passes 9-0. For final consideration and adoption of ordinance 25-088, how do you vote? Councilperson Ridley?
Aye.
Councilperson Hewlings?
Aye.
Councilperson Bogiano?
Aye.
Councilperson Saleh?
Aye.
Councilperson Solomon? Councilperson Gilmore?
Aye.
Councilperson DeGeez?
Aye.
Councilperson Rivera?
Aye.
And Council President Waterman?
Aye.
Ordinance 25-088 is adopted unanimously 9-0. Moving on to agenda item 4.4, ordinance 25-089, a franchise ordinance granting permission to Ian Gutch and Shannon Smith pursuant to resolution of the Planning Board of the City of Jersey City under case number P 2024-0135, allowing the installation of a common entry stoop and stair that extend into the public right-of-way beyond the boundary line of Lot 30, Block 19007, and are for the benefit of Lot 30, Block 19007, more commonly known as 3328 Holiday Street, Jersey City, New Jersey. We will have a public hearing on this ordinance. Anyone wishing to speak, please line up in front of the podium.
Motion. Second.
Okay, well, that was a motion made by Waterman to close the public hearing, second by Saleh. On the motion to close the public hearing, how do you vote? Councilperson Ridley?
Aye.
Councilperson Hewlings?
Aye.
Councilperson Bogiano? Councilperson Saleh?
Aye.
Councilperson Solomon? Councilperson Gilmore?
Aye.
Councilperson DeGeez?
Aye.
Councilperson Rivera?
Aye.
And Council President Waterman.
Aye.
Motion to close the public hearing passes unanimously 9-0. For final consideration and adoption of ordinance 25-089, how do you vote? Councilperson Ridley?
Aye.
Councilperson Hewlings?
Aye.
Councilperson Bogiano? Councilperson Saleh?
Aye.
Councilperson Solomon? Councilperson Gilmore?
Aye.
Councilperson DeGeez? Councilperson Rivera?
Aye.
Council President Waterman. Ordinance 25-089 is adopted unanimously 9-0. Moving on to agenda item 4.5, ordinance 25-090, an ordinance authorizing the City of Jersey City to execute an extension of a lease with the New Jersey Schools Development Authority on the real property located at Block 21102, Lot 52 on the city's tax map located at 70 Ege Avenue for the purposes of temporary parking for the Via JC service. We will have a public hearing on this ordinance. Anyone wishing to speak, please line up in front of the podium.
Motion.
Motion made by Gilmore to close the public hearing. Second by Waterman. On the motion to close the public hearing, how do you vote? Councilperson Ridley.
Aye.
Councilperson Hewlings.
Aye.
Councilperson Bogiano. Councilperson Saleh.
Aye.
Councilperson Solomon.
Aye.
Councilperson Gilmore.
Aye.
Councilperson DeGeez. Councilperson Rivera. Council President Waterman. Motion to close the public hearing passes unanimously 9-0. For final consideration and adoption of ordinance 25-090, how do you vote? Councilperson Ridley.
Aye.
Councilperson Hewlings.
Aye.
Councilperson Bogiano. Councilperson Saleh.
Aye.
Councilperson Solomon.
Aye.
Councilperson Gilmore.
Aye.
Councilperson DeGeez. Councilperson Rivera.
Aye.
And Council President Waterman. Ordinance 25-090 is adopted unanimously 9-0. Next item on the agenda, 4.6, ordinance 25-091, an ordinance supplementing chapter 332, vehicles and traffic, article 9, parking for the disabled of the Jersey City Code designated a reserved parking space at various locations throughout the city. We will now have a public hearing on this ordinance. Anyone wishing to speak, please line up at the podium.
Motion.
Motion made
Second.
by Saleh to close the public hearing. Second by
Waterman.
No.
Hewlings. Oh, I'm sorry.
Councilperson Hewlings. On the motion to close the public hearing, how do you vote? Councilperson Ridley.
Aye.
Councilperson Hewlings.
Aye.
Councilperson Bogiano.
Aye.
Councilperson Saleh.
Aye.
Councilperson Solomon.
Aye.
Councilperson Gilmore.
Aye.
Councilperson DeGeez. Councilperson Rivera.
Aye.
And Council President Waterman. Motion to close the public hearing passes 9-0. For final consideration and adoption of ordinance 25-091, how do you vote? Councilperson Ridley.
Aye.
Councilperson Hewlings.
Aye.
Councilperson Bogiano.
Aye.
Councilperson Saleh.
Aye.
Councilperson Solomon.
Aye.
Councilperson Gilmore.
Aye.
Councilperson DeGeez. Councilperson Rivera.
Aye.
And Council President Waterman. Ordinance 25-091 is adopted unanimously, 9-0. Next agenda item, 4.7, ordinance 25-092, an ordinance supplementing chapter 332, vehicles and traffic, article 2, traffic regulations, amending section 332-9, stop intersections to designate various intersections in the Heights neighborhood into multi-way stop intersections. We will now have a public hearing on this ordinance. Anyone wishing to speak, please line up in front of the podium.
Motion.
Motion made by Saleh to close the public hearing. Second by Waterman.
Gilmore.
Waterman.
Oh, Waterman.
It's fine with you. It's me, John.
On the motion to close the public hearing, how do you vote? Councilperson Ridley.
Aye.
Councilperson Hewlings.
Aye.
Councilperson Bogiano.
Aye.
Councilperson Saleh.
Aye.
Councilperson Solomon.
Aye.
Councilperson Gilmore.
Aye.
Councilperson DeGeez. Councilperson Rivera.
Aye.
And Council President Waterman. Motion to close the public hearing passes unanimously 9-0. For final consideration and adoption of ordinance 25-092, how do you vote? Councilperson Ridley.
Aye.
Councilperson Hewlings.
Aye.
Councilperson Bogiano. Councilperson Saleh.
I want to thank the Department of Infrastructure for this. I told them to go ham and to basically put always stops at the last intersections. Basically, we have maybe one or two more. So thank you, Department of Infrastructure and DPW. I vote aye.
Okay. Councilperson Solomon.
Aye.
Councilperson Gilmore.
Aye.
Councilperson DeGeez.
Aye.
Councilperson Rivera.
Aye.
And Council President Waterman. Ordinance 25-092 is adopted unanimously 9-0. Next item, agenda item 4.8, ordinance 25-093, an ordinance supplementing chapter 332, vehicles and traffic, article 3, parking, standing and stopping amending section 332-24, parking prohibited certain hours along Van Winkle Avenue between Tunley Avenue and Liberty Avenue. We will now have a public hearing on this ordinance. Anyone wishing to speak, please line up in front of the podium.
Motion.
Motion to close the public hearing made by Soleil, second made by, I believe that was Councilperson Rivera, right?
Yeah,
That was Soleil.
I'll take it.
he'd take it.
I'm sorry, I can't always hear very well from him. On the motion to close public hearing, how do you vote? Councilperson Ridley?
Aye.
Councilperson Hewlings? Close public-
Yes.
Councilperson Bogiano? Councilperson Soleil?
Aye.
Councilperson Solomon?
Aye.
Councilperson Gilmore?
Aye.
Councilperson DeGeez?
Aye.
Councilperson Rivera?
Aye.
And Council President Waterman. Motion to close the public hearing passes unanimously 9-0. For final consideration and adoption of ordinance 25-093, how do you vote? Councilperson Ridley.
Aye.
Councilperson Hewlings.
Aye.
Councilperson Bogiano. Councilperson Soleil.
Aye.
Councilperson Solomon.
Aye.
Councilperson Gilmore.
Aye.
Councilperson DeGeez.
Aye.
Councilperson Rivera.
Aye.
And Council President Waterman. Ordinance 25-093 is adopted unanimously 9-0. And lastly, agenda item 4.9, ordinance 25-094, an ordinance supplementing chapter 332, vehicles and traffic, article 8, permit parking, amending section 332-58, parking restrictions in residential zones to extend parking zone 2 to include Clifton Place between Fairmount Avenue and Summit Avenue. We will now have a public hearing on this ordinance. Anyone wishing to speak, please line up in front of the podium.
Motion,
Good evening.
Just state your name for the record.
Alyssa Lawrence.
Okay.
Yes, I'm a resident of Clifton Place. I'm the one who put in,
Hold on. I don't think she caught that.
I'm sorry, Alyssa Lawrence. Yes, I'm the one who put in the petition for this amendment. Just want to bring something to your attention before you vote. As we are doing more and more development housing, what is causing the main issue for the parking is landlords charging tenants a parking fee in addition to the rent. And therefore, what is happening is if you want to save a couple of extra dollars per month to avoid that fee, what are you going to do? You're going to park your car out on the street. Now, most of the houses that, private houses and apartment buildings that is on my street, they were developed in the late 1800s, early 1900s, and they were developed without a driveway. So therefore, their only option to park is on the street. Now, I have watched my neighbors for the last 6 years get into arguments and fighting each other for parking spots. I've seen my neighbors damage each other's vehicles, trying to squeeze their car into small spots. So just something I just want to bring to your attention, that as we are developing more and more housing, that if we could do something about the landlords charging rent for parking, because that will alleviate the issue. Thank you so much.
motion.
Motion to close the public hearing made by Councilperson Gilmore,
Second.
second by Councilperson Soleil. On the motion to close the public hearing, how do you vote? Councilperson Ridley?
Aye.
Councilperson Hewlings?
Aye.
Councilperson Bogiano?
Aye.
Councilperson Soleil?
Aye.
Councilperson Solomon?
Aye.
Councilperson Gilmore?
Aye.
Councilperson DeGeez? Councilperson Rivera?
Aye.
And Council President Waterman. Motion to close the public hearing passes unanimously 9-0. For final consideration and adoption of ordinance 25-094, how do you vote? Councilperson Ridley.
Aye.
Councilperson Hewlings?
Aye.
Councilperson Bogiano?
Aye, and also all these new buildings should be built with parking.
Councilperson Soleil?
Aye.
Councilperson Solomon?
Aye.
Councilperson Gilmore?
Aye.
Councilperson DeGeez?
Aye.
Councilperson Rivera?
Aye.
And Council President Waterman. Ordinance 25-094 is adopted unanimously, 9-0. We will now have a public hearing on the 2025-2026 West Side Avenue Special Improvement District Assessment Roll and Budget. Anyone wishing to speak, please line up in front of the podium.
Second.
Okay, motion to close the public hearing made by Waterman. Second by, I believe that was. And motion to close the public hearing. How do you vote? Councilperson Ridley?
Aye.
Councilperson Hewlings?
Aye.
Councilperson Bojana? Councilperson Saleh?
Aye.
Councilperson Solomon?
Aye.
Councilperson Gilmore?
Aye.
Councilperson DeGeez?
She stepped away.
Okay, she stepped away. Councilperson Rivera?
Aye.
And Council President Waterman. Motion to close public hearing adopted 8, missing 1 person, so 8-0 with 1 abstention, I guess, not here. Councilperson G is not here. Okay, we are now moving on to the public speaking portion of the meeting. You can speak to the council on any matter you wish. You will have 3 minutes to do so. Please be mindful of the countdown counter, which is located to my left, your right. The first speaker listed is Melinda Rodas. There. You are listed, I think, at number 10. So just hold on 1 second. You're listed at number 10. Melissa Rodas? No? Oh, Melita? Oh, sorry, I'm sorry, Melita Rodas. I'm sorry.
Melita?
Going once, going twice. The next speaker is Alexander Esposito. Not here?
See him, no.
Okay. Next speaker is Tina Knowles.
Tina's here. Tina's here. Who's here?
Hi, guys. Yes, my name is Tina Knowles. Yes, I do work for Education in Gilmore, but I'm speaking for myself. Justice for Drew. Justice for Drew. Yes, I just wanted to come on here just to let y'all know we are definitely screaming for homeless and housing for our community. That is the #1 on here. And I wanted to know too, what is going on with the small business on Jackson Avenue? A couple of people called our office about that. I guess they took it away from them.
I don't know what you're talking about, Tina.
On Martin Luther King, next to Dunkin' Donuts, the small business what Michelle Mass had made.
Oh, there's the
EDC?
Tana Village.
Yeah.
The Tana Village.
Remember what they
Reach
had?
out to the EDC. They're responsible for that. They were at one time. I don't know what happened with the property.
Yeah, I think.
They should have some type of, they should be able to guide you.
Okay, because I just noticed in our community, every time we get something, it gets taken away from us. It's just like the Martin place. That was supposed to be the re-interest that McGreevy had, but they end up using it for other things and it wasn't for our community. So I'm just noticing by me walking up in the community with boots on the ground, Education in Gilmore, I noticed they give us stuff and then they take it away from us. So I just want you to notice and just look in our community and see that that's the reason why our community is not growing, because they overlooking our community. And that was one of the biggest things. People was believing by them having small business that they was going to be able to grow. To see something like that taken from our community is like another depressing, another kicked in the behind of us, them doing us. It's like they focusing more about developments of building, but they forgetting about our youth, our kids, our seniors, our community, like the local stuff. Like we even finished that. We still haven't finished the cleaning up our community. Our community still look a mess. Like the young lady said about the parking space, that was the same thing in our community. The same as with parking space. It's just like them purple vans in our community that's keep smoking our community. Like we have to do better and line up things that's good for our community, not for what other people think, but for us, for our community. So I was just concerned about that because we've been getting a lot of phone calls about that, the small business and about the Martin place of why they took it from our community. Thank you guys and have a good day.
Gina Davison.
Good evening. Gina Davison speaking on my own behalf tonight as a resident. I don't really feel like being here tonight, but I have to show up for my community even when I don't feel like it. And so I'm here and I'm upset. because some of the people who are running in this race right now came to my building last night and misrepresented themselves to my neighbors. We need to be more aware of the ways in which power and proximity to power can change us. Some of you have lost your ability to be humble and self-reflect. The collective interest is in your personal interest. I want to commend those of you who have become self-aware enough to excuse yourselves from public office in this race to focus on family and recalibrate. We all need that from time to time. And I hope more of you make that consideration and throw your weight behind somebody new and progressive. Some of you are really misrepresenting yourselves and your track records. Y'all saw last night as a campaigning opportunity. If you've been kissing Mayor Stephen Trump's rear end for the past decade, how dare you get up and say that you're for the people, that you're truly for housing equity? You have sucked up to a master gentrifier for over a decade. You're not driving progress, you're driving neocolonialism, and you're driving the displacement of the Black and brown people who live in the city, of the low-income essential workers, the artists, the people who have been here for generations, all the people who make the culture of this city that many of you have profited off of. By supporting a mayor with so much hubris that he compromised our state funding, you are weakening our education system in this city, making us vulnerable. There was a Justice for Drew remembrance, by the way, on what was the 2nd anniversary of his murder by Jersey City police. We had a lovely recognition. We are still seeking justice for Drew. I want to thank those of you who continue to show up. Thank you, Mr. Gilmore, for your staunch support. Thank you for unifying your community and making us feel safe and protected. We appreciate you. Good night. Thank you.
Edward Perkins.
Okay, so hopefully everyone had a good summer. Not many people did. Many people were displaced. Fire victims had no support from the city. There's so much is going on. I'm so happy it's less than 60 days until this election is happening. And we sorely, badly need a new team. We need new leadership, a new vision, a new mission for our city. One where all of the people are included and none of the people are left behind. And yes, although we have an administration that essentially turned its back on us, it was enforced by this council. And it's amazing. After his 12-year tenure, most of the city denied him in the state. It's amazing. So that's the proof in the pudding right there for you. How he's failed us first with his vision in public safety. He only had to diversify our public safety department and fire departments. He only had to. But the members there can't even afford to live here. What is happening? What is the real plan for housing? We're being told gentrification is happening. We can't, without a new housing supply, what affordable housing will we actually have? And so we're collateral damage, essentially. And you all move forward steadfastly, continuously, going into new partnerships with developers. And we don't see enough schools built. We don't see our community enriched, or not every ward in our community enriched. We're victims of redistricting. The mayor himself and his administration stole so much of Ward F from the people. Our ability to choose our leadership. It happened here. This council, the ceasefire regardless of our leader's ethnicity? Where was the courage here? Where was the courage here? You still feel us with Drew. You still feel us with Drew's family. Justice for Drew.
The next speaker is Gabriella Neget. Oh, okay. Next speaker, Rob Coolish. No. Gary Pastier.
How you doing? Jersey City Parking Authority refuses to give me a free citizen parking permit for my Jewett Avenue condo unless they change my license and registration to Jersey City. If I do that, my insurance is going to go up $265 a year. They told me I had to buy if I want a permit, I had to pay a couple $100 for out-of-town resident business permit. All right. I'm disabled. I have to get my right hip replaced. And I vote in Jersey City and I get called for jury duty. I think I shouldn't have to pay for a parking permit because I'm disabled and I'm a senior. All right, and that's all I have to say. And thank you for listening to me.
Deborah Armstrong.
She's not here.
Not here. Laverne Washington.
She left, Sean.
They here tonight because they live in. It on the speakers list. Is that right? That's what I was saying.
Look.
All right. Anyway, what? Yes. Wait.
No, Laverne
It
is
is
speaking.
Laverne, sir.
Laverne is on the Laverne.
She's number 10 here on the list, so.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
I want you to hear back what was happening to the seniors. These are senior citizens.
All right, just
from Currywood.
So Laverne, you get your time as normal. You're on the list. You can speak. She's just saying that nobody else can speak.
No, they're not going to speak. They're just standing up about what's going on out where they live at.
Okay.
That's why I'm letting her know.
Okay. All right.
They took the bus stop away on Merritt.
Just wait.
Ocean Avenue.
Wait.
Oh. All right. Okay. Thank you.
All right. Okay. So your time begins now.
All right, council. These senior citizens called me yesterday, and a couple of them went to catch the bus on Merritt and Ocean Avenue. Out there for about an hour waiting on the bus. The bus never come, so they left. And then they called me. Then they go out there today. She got a picture of it that the sign is not there. The bus stop is not there no more. New Jersey Transit moved from Merritt, beginning of Ocean Avenue, all the way up to Neptune. Seniors got to go from Currywood, the beginning by Hall's department store. They got to go from there all the way up to Neptune. That's the same problem we had talking about turning that street to a one-way. What it would do. And here's the prime example, New Jersey Transit, and the councilwoman, I talked to her before this, she said she told them not to do it. They said the tenants was complaining about the bus stop in front of their house. They just moved there about a year or 2 years, but then she said that the tenant said it's all right. The bus stop can stay there. But New Jersey Transit, she got pictures and she took it, they moved the bus stop. So all them seniors that don't ride a car or drive in Currywood right now, they got to go Neptune and Ocean Avenue to get a bus. She said she's going to call New Jersey Transit again tomorrow, but all you need to be on top of this. This is a disgrace. It's a shame. Get the phone calls I get. All right? And it's sad that our seniors, they on wheelchairs, walkers, councilmen, and they got to walk and crawl all the way up 3 blocks to get a bus. But somebody didn't want it in front of their house where it's been for 100 years. Then he said, the councilwoman said, they said it's all right, right? Councilwoman?
Just stay there.
But now it's too late. It's done. That's why they're here tonight with me. They called me. I didn't call them. They came to me about the problem. I'm out giving out book bags and school shirts. You know what I do. But I had to stop to help them. They didn't even warn them. They stood out there for, how many hours you told me? 2? And then the bus never came. Then the next day, which is today, she got a picture of it in her phone. This is not no bus stop no more. It's been there 100 years. I'm 77, always been a bus stop on that corner. Cross some halls, beginning of Ocean Avenue, One Ocean. This is a disgrace. Anything goes in our community. Anything. They don't even let us warn us, tell us. It's a shame that these seniors, 2 hours. Thank God it wasn't raining or snowing. And nobody warned them.
Okay, your
Like you would let us know about the change of the one way. Nobody let them know.
your time is up, Laverne.
Okay, thank you.
Oh.
Take care of
Laverne.
people.
Well, Melissa, we did send the email, so I'll have an answer from New Jersey Transit tomorrow once they get in the office. But idling buses and them not being able to get their drivers to stop idling buses isn't a reason to change the entire bus stop. So I'll call you tomorrow.
Okay, the next speaker is Daniel Feldman.
30, 142, 71,000, 7.1 million. This is my 30th time speaking before you all. And today marks 142 consecutive days in which us portside tenants have reported 14 daily violations across our 2 buildings. When one violation triggers the per tenant per day language in section 260 of the Jersey City Code of Ordinances, that's over 500 individual daily violations. Multiplied by 142 days, that's 71,000 violations. About 2 weeks ago, nearly 50 of us watched the municipal court proceedings, and some of you were there too. After 71,000 documented violations, the city issued fines for 4 of them. 3 bathroom vents and 1 uncovered mattress. The total fines collected were less than $2,000. Meanwhile, our neighbors pay over $2,000 extra in illegal rent every single month. But when a billion-dollar corporation violates our safety codes 71,000 times, they pay less than what one tenant loses in just 1 month. Now, this council formed an investigative committee with unanimous support consisting of Amy DeGise, Yusuf Saleh, and Frank Gilmore with subpoena power. They can compel testimony not just from landlords, but from city officials, including municipal prosecutor Jake Hudnut. We need to know why the absence of a court stay means the absence of enforcement, and why 200 vent violations found by state inspectors results in fines for only 3 of them. Councilman Solomon heard the same story from residents across every ward, and his response was to create 3 ordinances that give existing laws the teeth they've always needed. Ordinance 25-100 transforms these 71,000 violations into $7.1 million in mandatory non-waivable fines. Now, the city could collect millions of dollars right now under existing law, but they choose not to. These ordinances remove that choice, and they replace selective enforcement with systematic accountability. Now, every council member here receives our daily violation reports. Did any of you read our 142 daily emails and come up with 3 vents and a mattress for the violations? The question before you isn't whether these problems exist, but it's whether Jersey City will finally enforce its own laws. Thank you, Councilman Solomon, for developing these enforcement tools. Thank you, Investigative Committee, for your unanimous commitment to finding answers. And thank you, Council, for what we hope will be unanimous passage of these 3 ordinances at your next meeting. The next speakers will share how this enforcement crisis affects every corner of our city. Please listen and then please act. Thank you.
The the next speaker is Brendan Coughlin.
It's the worst pronouncement of my last name I've ever heard in my life. Good evening, Council. Good evening, Jake Condon. If you're listening, I know you. I know you are. This speech is especially for you. You told a judge that Equity Residential has a right to appeal. That's true. But here's what's also true. Without a stay from court, you have no legal obligation to defer prosecution. None. Zero. That's not my opinion. That's the black and letter law. An appeal without a stay doesn't stop enforcement. Every first-year law student knows this. Most of the people that have seen Law and Order know this simple fact. That was your choice. That was a choice, and it was your choice. Let me quote a lawyer who watched your performance in court. The municipal prosecutor is not obligated to defer if there's no stay or temporary restraints in place. The question that wasn't asked is why he's obligated to defer prosecution and adjunction of matters before him. Why, Mr. Hundon? Why did you choose 3 bathroom vents over 400,000 violations? Why did you choose just 1 mattress over missing carbon monoxide detectors? Why did you choose to ignore 142 consecutive nights of Korean War Memorial violations? Is it because you're taking orders from someone above you? If so, who? The mayor, the business administrator? Or is it your own decision to protect a billion-dollar corporation while tenants suffer? You have prosecutional discretion, but discretion doesn't mean dereliction. When you ignore 1 million violations to focus on 3 events, that's not prosecution, that's prostitution of justice. Here's what really burns. You found the time to ensure 1 mattress was covered, but couldn't find the time to protect a memorial to 127 fallen heroes. You counted 3 events, but couldn't count 527 families living without legally required superintendents. The committee that this council created unanimously has created subpoena power. They can compel you to testify under oath. They can ask you directly, did someone order you to minimize these prosecutions? Did someone tell you to turn millions in fines into some change? Mr. Hundon, you became a prosecutor to uphold justice, not to help landlords avoid it. You swore an oath to enforce the law, not selectively ignore it. You have 2 choices. Start enforcing the law, all of it, not just the parts that don't inconvenience billionaires, or admit publicly that you work for landlords, not the people of Jersey City. Every tenant in the city is watching. Every small landlord who follows the laws is watching. The press is watching. History is watching. 3 vents and a mattress, Mr. Hundon. That's your legacy unless you want to choose differently starting tomorrow. Now, for a little added context, I'm the son of a former prosecutor who used the prosecutional discretion in the past to, let people off on small violations, not for 994,000 violations. This is absurd. I actually texted him and he burst out laughing at the absurdity and naked corruption. Thank you.
The next speaker is David Wilson.
Good evening, members of the council. I've been a tenant in various different apartments in Jersey City since 2005. Most recently, I'm a tenant and a resident at Portside Towers. Since 2023, I've been coming to these meetings, and at every single meeting, members of the public have spoken about illegal activities carried out by landlords against tenants. The response from the council has been mixed. Sometimes words of support, sometimes excuses, most often silence. Very recently, that has changed, and the council has started to take action, and I applaud that. You've formed this special committee on these issues with the subpoena power for landlords and city officials to kind of get to the bottom of this. The ordinances that were introduced tonight by Councilmember Solomon are important as they go directly to this issue of these trivial fines, which do not discourage, this kind of behavior, law-breaking behavior, they actually encourage it. And so seeing this change in the council from silence to action, I'm reminded of a catchphrase from a TV show. I want to believe. I want to believe that this is a real change and that the council is committed to taking action on these issues, on the issues of tenant and landlord relations. And I want to believe that the committee is going to be effective and that these ordinances are going to be passed. I want to believe that the government of my city is going to stand up for the people of our city and not for the large companies and their armies of lawyers and deep pockets. And that's especially true now in our current situation. The federal government is literally waging war against cities in this country that stand up for their people. And I and a lot of other people are desperate for people in local government that we can trust. It's going to get worse before it gets better. It doesn't give me any pleasure to say that. And I want something, I want to believe, and please give me something to believe in. Thank you.
The next speaker is Tom Miller.
Good evening, City Council. I last spoke before you on June 25th, nearly 3 months ago. At that time, I reminded you that you are not powerless in this fight against the ongoing violations being committed by Equity Residential. You are not spectators. The council operates under the Faulkner Act, both the authority and the obligation to uphold the law. I also warned you at that time that a multi-billion-dollar landlord was openly violating safety and rent control ordinances. That was almost 3 months ago, yet nothing has changed. Our landlord at Portside Towers still refuses to comply with Chapter 218 of the Jersey City Code of Ordinances, which requires 24/7 uniform security in all buildings with 100 or more units. They also refuse to comply with Chapter 254, which requires all buildings with 6 or more units to have a superintendent living on site. It's disheartening and unacceptable that these violations continue unchecked. What's happening at Portside, however, is not an isolated case. It's a symptom of a deeper problem across Jersey City and across New Jersey. If you allow Equity Residential to ignore the law, you aren't just failing 527 families. You're sending a signal to every other landlord watching to see what they can get away with. We deserve action. We deserve enforcement, and we deserve accountability. Thank you.
The next speaker is Barbara Goldberg.
Good evening, City Council. If I was asked to sum up in a word this City Council, after watching it for 3 years since I moved into Portside Towers in 2022, it would be this single word: still. The word still has so many meanings, so let me use my 3 minutes to be clear. Not the still that describes the calm, reassuring feeling that a tenant gets knowing your home is secure from intruders, that your rent is stable, and your apartment equipment or structural breakdowns will be repaired relatively soon after reporting what is sometimes an emergency. Not that kind of still. Still is in the kind of still that I hear from so many of my journalist friends who have covered city councils nationwide and know that there has been 3 years since tenants at Portside Towers won a ruling by the Jersey City Rent Leveling Board confirming that our buildings are indeed protected by Jersey City's rent control laws under Ordinance 260. Yet tenants are still seeking reinforcement. So my journalist friends ask incredulously, still? City law mandates that buildings like Portside Towers have 24/7 uniform security. Yet we still don't have that uniform security 24/7. City law mandates that buildings like Portside Towers have an on-site superintendent. Yet we still don't have an on-site superintendent in either of our buildings. 2 buildings means 2 supers. My ask tonight is still the same ask that I've made for the past 3 years. Please do the job you promised residents you would do when you asked them for their votes. Enforce the laws of this city. I'm an optimist, so I am looking forward to the day when I have a different single word to sum up this city council. I hope that someday soon I can say that if I was asked to sum up in a word this city council, it would be this single word. Finally. Thank you.
The next speaker is Vania Sousa.
Good evening, Council. My name is Vanya and I'm a tenant at Portside. Firstly, thank you for approving the resolution at the August 20th meeting that establishes an investigatory committee into Portside Towers. That was an important step and we are grateful. I'll try not to be overly critical about how long this has taken because last meeting you did take action, but tonight I'm here to keep the fire to your tushes so that momentum isn't lost. Tenants like us don't need new laws, we just need the existing ones enforced. To make this point, I want to talk about my mom. She's a small landlord, just 3 units. When she's cited for something small, like trash left in front of her building or a fence that didn't meet code, she pays the fine or appeals and fixes it within weeks. She has to, because if she doesn't, the daily penalties kick in. That's what accountability looks like. A small landlord pays her dues. Portside Towers, on the other hand, a multi-million-dollar landlord or billion-dollar, has racked up 142 days and counting of documented violations, yet less than $2,000 in fines have been collected. That's not accountability, that's an enforcement gap. 2 violations stand out most for us. First, the absence of a required on-site superintendent, a clear mandate for any building with 6 or more units. We have more than 500. Second, the absence of a 24/7 uniform security guard, also a clear ordinance for buildings with 100 plus units. That ordinance has been in effect for over 330 days, still no compliance. While these violations go unenforced, tenant safety is being gambled with. In November 2024, a young woman was attacked and ran bleeding into our lobby. In June 2024, a bullet pierced an apartment window. Just this month, a resident's car window was smashed next to her child's booster seat. These are not abstract risks, these are happening right now. Portside is a landlord, a huge landlord. A fine here and there is a scratch to them, but daily penalties, properly enforced, would finally make breaking the law more expensive than following it. That's the leverage you already have. So once again, thank you for establishing the investigatory committee. Please use it to ask the hard question. Why are existing ordinances not being enforced? And why are penalties not being applied daily as written? And I'll close where I began. If my mom, a 3-unit landlord, is expected to quickly fix a fence or trash violation under the threat of daily penalties, surely a landlord of Portside size should be held to at least the same standard when the violations threaten public safety. Thank you for hearing me.
The next speaker is Aruna Krishnan.
Good evening, City Council. I'm a first-time speaker. I want to talk to you about the lack of building maintenance at Portside. We seldom get any warnings about having no water until we turn on the tap and hear only a gurgle. It didn't happen too long ago. It happened this morning for me. I come back home from work most days and go to the restroom to freshen up, and the water is out. In the times we live in, I don't think it's too difficult to inform tenants of planned maintenance or even short notice maintenance. Emergencies are obviously different and they require frequent status updates rather than notifications. This doesn't happen either. The last time I had no water, I called the Portside emergency number and got through their offshore answering service, which was in the Philippines. They took a message, but nobody ever called back, despite their promise. Another issue is the elevators in the building, especially the Portside East Tower. The elevators are so unreliable, to say the least. My work is 20 minutes away door to door, but I have to plan 40 minutes because I cannot be sure of getting downstairs in the morning. On August 25th, all the elevators in the building stopped working. We had to wait for about 2 hours for the elevator service company to come and start them up again. All these problems are made worse by the lack of a resident superintendent that is required by law. How can you, the city council, help enforce the law when Equity Residential blatantly flouts it? Thank you.
The next speaker is Shannon Ray.
Good evening, Council. While Jay Cudnut was counting broken vents, the Department of Community Affairs counted something else. 515 total violations at Portside Towers. That's 515. But here's what should terrify every parent in this room. Our landlords has hidden these violations from tenants for over 200 days. Not delayed, not incomplete notification, complete silence. Total concealment. Let me be specific about what they're hiding. Missing carbon monoxide detectors in at least 17 units. That's not a maintenance issue, that's a potential death sentence. Missing window guards where children live, balcony railings that could fail at any moment, and non-working bathroom ventilation in over 200 units. Jay Cudnut prosecuted 3 vent violations. State found over 200. He grabbed 3 and called it justice. Jersey City Ordinance 254-19 requires landlords to notify every tenant within 10 days of receiving violation notices. 10 days, it's been over 200. That's not an oversight and that's not deliberate, that's deliberate concealment of life-threatening dangers. Councilman Solomon's Ordinance 25-100 would make this concealment carry mandatory fines, and we thank him for that. But you don't need new laws to protect these children. The concealment itself is already illegal. Every day of hidden dangers is a separate violation. That's 200 days times 527 units of deliberate endangerment. And what does our municipal prosecutor do with this information? 3 vents and a mattress. Not the 200 plus vents the state found, not the missing carbon monoxide detectors, not the concealment that puts children at risk. 3 vents and a mattress. So to the investigative committee, this isn't about legal technicalities anymore. This is about children's lives. Subpoena the full DCA report. Actually, I saved you the trouble. There it is, the full report. Subpoena Equity Residential's internal communications about why they chose to hide these dangers. Ask Jay Cudnut under oath if he knew about the missing carbon monoxide detectors when he settled for the 3 vents. Some of you may have children. All of you have constituents with children. How do you explain that a mattress cover warranted prosecution, but missing carbon monoxide detectors didn't? How do you tell parents that their landlord can legally hide these hazards for 200 days while the city doesn't do anything? And here's the most damning part of all. Equity Residential knows about these violations that they received the report. They made a conscious decision to keep tenants in the dark. This needs to be investigated and violations and fines need to be issued. Thank you.
The next speaker is Susan Roca.
Good evening, council members. My name is Susan Roca, but perhaps you remember that from the other 3 times I've spoken. Certainly you remember Dan Feldman's name. He's spoken here more than 30 times. Or perhaps Kevin Weller, 60 times, or Michelle Hirsch, more than 50 times. Surely you remember them. But it seems like you don't, because here we are again reminding you one more time of equity residential city code violations. The same exact issues for the last 3 years. So it feels a little reminiscent of Groundhog's Day, except not nearly as fun or funny. Here we are again because Portside Equity has still not met the very basic city mandated requirements for our building. 24/7 uniformed security agents on the premises, a full-time live-in superintendent. Neither of these requirements are being met. Not yesterday, not last week, and certainly not tonight while many of us are here. This is not a technicality or a paper issue. This is about safety and security. We are a community of young children, working families, and elderly residents. People come home late from work. Emergency repair issues come up late at night or on the weekend, and everyone deserves to feel secure where they live. Having a uniformed guard and a superintendent living on site is not a luxury. It's a necessity. And more importantly, it's the law. So like Bill Murray's character, we wake up again and see it's the same. Nothing has changed. We are here at yet another city council meeting, asking the same questions to the same people as if we were asking for the very first time. Very familiar. So tonight I want to ask, what do we need to do to see change? How long must residents continue to show up here and ask for your help? If the city mandates these measures, then tenants should not have to beg for them for their enforcement. We are asking for your leadership and your help to enforce the city's own requirements. Fines are meaningless to Equity's deep pockets. City statutes are not suggestions, they are obligations, and we need action. The endless loop of Groundhog's Day finally ends when Bill Murray's character makes the most of the time loop and starts to learn, to get to know, and help his community of neighbors. Only then do things change and a new day starts. I think you already know all of us. You have learned what the issues are, and we all want to believe that you want to help us, your community. So please end this Groundhog's Day loop. Take action and start a brand new day. Thank you.
The next speaker is Gracie Jolly. Not here, okay. Tara Smith.
Good evening, council. My name is Tara Smythe. I don't live at Portside or even in their ward, but their fight is my fight because I too have been a victim of Equity Residential violating the city's laws. I've been before you countless times. I've heard people from every ward bring forward these same life safety violations over and over, not just with Equity Residential. What happens to Portside today happens to all of us tomorrow. I filed an illegal rent petition and a failure to maintain services petition with the landlord tenant office in August of 2023. It was not even acknowledged by the city for almost 2 years. It is finally about to go before the rent leveling board. During these entire 2 years of waiting, Equity hasn't been fined once for violating the law. Guess what 70 Green Street doesn't have? A resident superintendent, nor uniformed security. Guess what transparency laws they've broken? No landlord identity compliance. Guess how many fines they've paid? 0. While I've waited 2 years just to be acknowledged by the landlord tenant office. Thank you, Councilman Solomon, for your leadership. Only wish it could have come before I was forced from my home after bringing my case before this council for months on end. I hope the rent leveling board will be fair, and I expect a lawful determination. To members of the press, I hope you'll cover it. Friends, please contact me so I can let you know when my hearing date will be. I hope you will witness justice in action. The Portside tenants have carried a great burden for all of Jersey City. They've been the test case, the ones who stood up when everyone else stayed silent. They helped me understand my rights. They showed me how to document violations. They didn't ask if I lived in their building. They just helped. Now they need our help. Please search Portside Towers on GoFundMe. Every dollar helps them fight for all of us. Email rentcontroljc@gmail.com if you need help or if you want to help. This isn't charity, it's solidarity. When Portside wins, every renter wins. When they prove violations have consequences, every landlord thinks twice. Again, please search Portside Towers on GoFundMe. Join this fight before it comes to your building, because if we don't stand together now, we'll all fall separately later. Thank you.
The next speaker is Erica Blanco.
Good evening. I spoke last month regarding Equity Management's refusal to grant additional fobs to all listed residents on leases, even though they are mandating residents to carry them at all times. This requirement is made even more critical by the absence of uniform security, which is a legally mandated ordinance, and this puts the burden of our safety on each of us individually. I am 5'1", 107 pounds, and a single mother to a preschooler. I was under an order of protection. When I moved into Portside in February 2024, management told me they would get back to me about protocol. A month later, crickets. The front desk, the very people who have the first contact with anyone entering the building, had no idea what I was talking about when I asked them about my situation. I took it upon myself to communicate with the concierges directly because I wasn't willing to gamble on Equity's follow through. Last fall, after a potential breach of this order of protection, I revisited the issue with management. Their response were deeply dismissive and relinquishing responsibility. An immediate solution was that I could move. There is no worse feeling, by the way, than feeling unsafe in your own home. One of their solutions was I could move. Quote, "We will not be able to comply with your requests for prevention of access and or removal," end quote, which I explicitly did not ask. Quote, "Portside is a large community. There may be times that our concierge is tied up with another task or resident, and it's possible that this individual is able to slip past the front desk," end quote. My request was simple. I wanted to know what internal security procedures were in place for such a situation and to be assured that I would be immediately reached out so I could take my own proper action. Instead, they simply said they would tell the concierges and that safety was extremely important. My prior building had a clear and effective system for this. When a breach occurred there, the staff acted exactly as they said they would, and I was notified immediately. This building does not. This is not only a failure to protect me, but a blatant disregard for the safety of our entire community, its community, your community. A truly safe community requires more than just a concierge at the desk. And again, security is not a concierge's purview. It requires a proactive uniform security presence and clear procedures that staff are trained to follow. The absence of a strong security plan and uniformed guards leaves all of us vulnerable. This isn't about isolated incidents. It's about a fundamental gap in our building safety infrastructure and willful disregard from management over its residents and defiance for the laws that should hold it accountable. I beseech you, Councilpersons Ridley, Hewlings, Baggiano, DeGise, Waterman, Soleil, and Solomon, protect us. Thank you.
The next speaker is Jennifer Howard Kessler.
Good evening, City Council. My name is Jennifer Howard Kessler. I'm a resident at Portside Towers. Last time I was here, I asked you all why you didn't want to be the heroes of this story of Jersey City and its residents. So helping the people who live here. I've noticed that you guys have there's some movement forward, and that is fantastic. Like, I love movement forward. So, you know, firstly, I want to thank Councilman Solomon for hearing residents across Jersey City, helping to develop solutions. I also credit the investigative committee with starting down this path as well. But there's so much more to be done, because just starting down the path just isn't enough. And so I hope you're all like at the table making stuff happen, because it's really time. Because like I said last time, you guys have to be tired of hearing the same things over again because nothing's been done. So I really hope that, you know, the violation fines are taken seriously, that the illegal activities are taken seriously, and that things change. And I have faith in you guys, you can make it happen. So please make it happen. Thank you.
The next speaker is Mel Wilson.
Hi, good evening, Council. So Solomon's new ordinances are a great step in the right direction. We are very grateful for them. It's great to have them coming up soon in the next meeting. I don't understand when the laws are clear, the violations are proven, the fines are already set while they're required. But as these issues have not been upheld to date, I welcome anything that should get us closer to enforcing them. I will retain some healthy skepticism and hope that to be proven unnecessary. And sooner rather than later, maybe this year. Personally, my lease will be up again in April. I'd love for not just a freeze, but even our long-awaited rollback. Adding to never-ending issues at Portside, and just to ensure that you don't forget that, yes, there are the large issues you know about, you hear about all the time, again and again, but on a daily basis, Equity provides new and inventive ways to reduce service and surprise us. Last week, I went into the bathroom of my apartment, literally last week, and felt a weird heat source. That's not usually there. There is a vent that doesn't work, but there's no heat source. I found that my toilet had filled with scorching hot water. Scorching hot, I could feel the heat radiating off it. As a bit of a surprise, I raised a maintenance request, and a few hours later, only a few hours later, that's actually quite a short response time, the maintenance guy turned up, and in this time, the water had been turned off completely. And he informed me that there was work going on and there'd be some disruption. So not only is that a complete waste of the maintenance guy's time, why is he delivering messages instead of seeing to all the other service requests that are out there? But nothing from Equity, no email, no warning, no minimum courtesy. And yes, a warning for this is highly necessary. You could have a B-day installed. Let's consider where that water might end up. Talk about putting fire to tushes. I'll move on. The new Special Investigative Committee, it's only been 3 weeks since its inception. We have been coming here for 3 years, so we implore you to move more quickly with firm action. You should be able to tell that we're not giving up. The leaders and some of our regular speakers of our group may not be here. Where's the camera? Hey guys, we miss you. You know they're watching. We're not going anywhere. We've got more people here than we've seen in a while, lots of new people. The pressure is staying on. Fulop might be out very soon. Some of you may not be back in the long term, but we will continue to keep the pressure on whoever is still here and whoever may join you. Thank you.
Next speaker is John Wilson.
Hello. I got held up at work on the night of the last meeting and I missed my speaking slot, but I did arrive in time to catch your announcement that you were forming the committee to perform an investigation into the ongoing mistreatment of so many of the city's residents. However, since I missed everything leading up to that, I was keen to watch the recording of the live stream, but there isn't one available. Can you tell us why?
We'll have to check with the AV tech people.
Okay.
Should be on JCTV.
Okay. It's just, it's weird that on the occasion of what was possibly the first announcement of its kind in the city for many years, not ever. It's an unfortunate coincidence. Anyway, we really appreciate you taking this on. I will say that it's disappointing that it has taken like a few years, but here we are. So thank you. We look forward to speedy progress. It's a great opportunity to expose and remedy the wrongdoing that's harmed JC residents for longer than the 3 years when we come to these meetings. I do hope we will have your assurance that you will use all the tools and authority available to you, and you'll resist bowing to pressure from powerful special interest lobbies and groups and anyone in the city's administration that have so far stymied rent control efforts. I also want to thank Councilman Solomon for putting forward those resolutions we've been discussing. When you will vote to pass them on September 24th, they'll protect the city's tenants from the landlord malpractices that this city has turned a blind eye to for years. As the outgoing mayor himself acknowledged, Jersey City has the strictest rent control laws in the state, though he did stop short of admitting they're not being enforced. Corporate landlords have been getting away with mistreating tenants for years and not without the city's help. It's unfortunate that we need new ordinances in order to enforce existing ones. But this is good news. We look forward to ensuring that when passed, these ordinances are enforced. So thank you again, Councilman Solomon, for introducing and championing the resolutions, and to Council members DeGees, Gilmore and Sally for your commitment to an investigation. We look forward to seeing these coming to fruition. Thanks for your time.
The next speaker is Suvi Huikuri. No? Okay. The next speaker then is Mark Boyles.
Good evening, Council. You voted unanimously to create an investigative committee with subpoena power. That was 21 days ago. How many subpoenas have been issued? You have the same power as Congress investigating Watergate, but you're using it like a library card you forgot to activate. Committee members Saleh, Gilmore, and DeGees, this council gave you power to act. Now the question is, will you use it, or is it just political theater? Here's what you should subpoena today. First, the rent rolls. Every landlord's actual rent records. Find out who's overcharging and by how much. 2, mortgage documents. The state exemption laws ties everything to the initial mortgage term. Get the documents, end the speculation. Third, algorithmic pricing contracts. Subpoena every agreement with RealPage or companies doing similar work. See who's price fixing and who's competing fairly. Fourth, superintendent records. Don't take their word, demand proof. Employment records, apartment leases, pay stubs. Either they have superintendents or they don't. Fifth, and most importantly, subpoena Jake Hudnut. Make him explain under oath why 994,000 violations became 3 vents and a mattress. Ask him who gave those orders. Get it on record. If department heads aren't submitting the million or so violations we've reported to each of you, subpoena them too. Find out where the breakdown happens. Is it mere incompetence or is it corruption? Some of you on this committee are running for mayor. Others want another term on this council. Let me ask you, if you allow this city to limit its attention to 3 vents and a mattress in the face of 1 million reported violations, how can you run a city? Don't let Equity's lawyers intimidate you. They'll claim you're interfering with litigation. That's nonsense. You're investigating why city ordinances aren't being enforced. That's not interference, that's oversight. That's your job. The violations we're reporting have nothing to do with their lawsuits. Missing superintendents, concealed safety violations, Korean War memorial abandonment, none of that's being litigated. You have every right to investigate, and in fact, you have the duty to investigate. Committee members Saleh, Gilmore, and DeGees, you have this power. You've been supported unanimously by the council and by all of us. Now use it so it won't become just political theater. 21 days, 0 subpoenas. That changes tomorrow, or we'll all know this committee was just for show. You have the power. use it. Thank you.
The next speaker is Jack McKee.
How's it going, council? I'll be honest, when I walked up, I got one of the wrong agendas and there are only 5 speakers on there and I thought my name was off and I was like, oh great, I'm gonna go home and eat dinner. And then someone showed me the other one. I'm like, I'm 28th. I'm kind of echoing a lot of what I've heard today. And I think it's kind of cut from the same cloth, which is whether it's public services or development or housing, it's like, we as a community have gotten so accustomed to saying, well, this is how things get done, or this is the process, without ever pausing and saying, what are we getting from that process? And is that good for us? And I don't point the finger at any one person because I think we're all a little bit captured by the systems that we are a part of. But like, take a look around us. I'm not seeing this kind of artistry from the developers in this city. I'm seeing better construction quality for the, borderline indentured servants that used to work on the railroads that are now the cream of the crop in Jersey City downtown housing. So I want to point out that what used to be for the lowest of the low are now $1 million homes because they were made with care. And I'm not seeing that from the development community. I'm seeing things slapped together, and not just here. It's not just a Jersey City thing. It's I was walking through Harrison the other day, and these, a building a minute, it seems. And as someone that has worked in the trades, carpentry and painting, I was looking at these constructions that are sleek and they're okay, but you can start to see the decay. And I thought, like, well, I see the paint fading from this. And I thought, no one is doing anything about this because it's not something worth doing anything about. They're cheap materials, and I see it throughout the city. I see, I have no claims on this, but I'm going to make I think what's an educated assumption. Outside Liberty Harbor, for example, they planted trees and they left about 1.5 inches on each side of the stone, which immediately killed all the trees. So now we have just a row of dead trees or dying trees. And it goes back to that. We're not really considering what we're getting from it. We're just very quickly saying, okay, what do you want to do? You want to build a building. What are you going to do for us? Yeah, you're going to plant some trees. And we jump to that without ever asking, is this a smart decision? Is this something that is going to serve the community in perpetuity, or at least for a generation? And I say all that without pointing the finger at anyone sitting here, because as I said, I think we're all kind of trapped by the systems that we inherit. But I would love to take a pause as a community and say, what are we trying to achieve, and do these decisions help us achieve that? Thank you.
The next speaker is Erica Walker. Okay. The next speaker is Zach Whitaker.
Good evening. I want you to imagine what it feels like to walk into your own home and feel immediately uncomfortable. Almost like you've walked into the home of someone that you know doesn't like you. That's what it increasingly feels like for me and countless others who come home to Jersey City every day to buildings owned by landlords that knowingly violate our city laws and our rights. Me and my partner, who you heard speak from here a few months ago, live in a building owned by a landlord that over the years has repeatedly and willfully failed to comply with a multitude of laws in this city. To name a few, our landlord Equity Residential has violated our city's rent control laws by illegally raising our rents by exorbitant rates. We and others have had damage documented to our homes because of maintenance failings that could have been avoided had our landlord complied with the rules of our city. There have been endless lists of other city violations that have run up months of fines, and yet little has been collected. It's a deeply uncomfortable feeling to live in a building where you know that your landlord repeatedly violates the laws that should be protecting us. At times, it feels even adversarial, having to interact with our landlord's representatives, leading to standoffs over fundamental basic standards of living that everyone has a right to. Over the years that these violations have dragged on without resolution through enforcement by the city, we as a community have been left to largely defend ourselves through collective action from a powerful billion-dollar landlord. And yet it's our landlord who is breaking the law, whose actions work against our communities and the people who live here for the sake of protecting its own corporate profits. In the years that residents of this city have been here at this council, week in and week out, to make our voices heard, we haven't seen nearly enough by the city to enforce its laws and to protect its residents from bad actors. This isn't just one bad corporate landlord. This can happen to anyone in this city. This is happening to people in our city. We've had years of inaction, and we're asking you, as our elected representatives, for your help. We're asking for you to support your constituents, to defend our laws, and to hold these landlords accountable for their actions. Thank you.
The next speaker is Maureen Nally. Going once, going twice. Okay. The next speaker is Mike Ticehurst.
Councilman, council ladies, fellow residents. I'm Mike Ticehurst. I'm a proud resident of Jersey City. I'm a small business owner. I represent District E20 in the Hudson County Democratic Organization. I'm a husband, and as the bags under my eyes might suggest, a new father. That also means I'm on borrowed time here from my wife, so I would appreciate your eyes, ears, and attention. If my 3-month-old can wait, so can your emails. I'm here to discuss my experience and the impact of being priced out of Portside Towers. I'm a rent-controlled apartment. I recognize the irony of discussing displacement, given that my arrival probably meant the same thing for many Jersey City residents at the time. I moved to Jersey City in 2013 into 1510 West, a beautiful 2-bedroom apartment. Jersey City is the first and only place I have chosen to live. This city and that apartment were my home. We lived there happily, never missing a rent payment nor receiving any complaint. Maintenance was difficult and the office staff was non-responsive, but we loved our home and community anyways. Yet every year, rent increased, with no improvements nor additional services, allegedly to reflect a market rate that could never be demonstrated or explained. Eventually, we were forced to move and say goodbye to our home. As I said, I'm a new father, and that apartment and its stability would have been perfect for my family, but we had to leave for affordability. As it stands now, we're looking for a new place, and given rising costs, we'll likely have to leave the city we call home. My life and business are in this city. I want my daughter to live and grow here, to learn from this wonderful, diverse community. But all of that means nothing next to corporations from outside our community making a few more dollars. Our experience with Portside and what we face now is just one of the thousands of similar stories from Jersey City residents. I see at least 2 people here with ambitions to be mayor, and I imagine there are other aspirations on this council as well. I would invite all of you who wish to govern to consider the following. 1, these corporations are dependent on residents, but not specific residents, meaning that to them, people are all just interchangeable cogs. Is that really the attitude we want determining who makes up our community? 2, neither steel nor cement, roads, rivers, parks, or parking lot give a city its character. It's the characters themselves, not the high rises that make Jersey City a great place to live. It's the people who live here, and our tenure is under threat. 3rd and finally, Jersey City has already seen what happens when the people who make up our community are forced to leave. We are just recovering from that as a city, and I urge all of you to never let it happen again. Thank you.
The next speaker is Liv Malone.
Hey, I'm back.
Hi, my name is Liv Malone. I've been leading the Bergen Grand Tenant Association since March 2024, but as of a few months ago, I am now co-leading with Brittany Sarge, who is here in the pink. Myself, Brittany, and some of my neighbors are here to make an announcement and speak on our experience. A demand letter is about to be sent to our landlord. Our demands were authored and will be delivered by our legal representation, Neil D. Marotta and Eric J. Nemeth. On June 25th, the Office of Landlord-Tenant Relations determined our building, 429 Bergen Avenue, is subject to rent control. A 6-year-old, basically new building, subject to rent control because the landlord failed to provide sufficient proof of compliance for an exemption. We are demanding rent rolls and leases for all units from the time of initial rentals in 2019 to now for performing any overcharge calculations and for new leases with the correct rent. Our landlord, Bergen Ave Investments, LLC, owned by Amir bin Yohanan, will have 20 days to comply with our demand letter. Without compliance, we'll be forced to file an action in the Superior Court of New Jersey, in addition to other available remedies. These are our demands at this time. That was an update. Now some thoughts of mine. So it's been refreshing to read about the non-waivable fines for landlords committing violations and stronger rent control ordinance. I love to see it, truly, the city aiming to speak the universal language of all landlords, money. I want to remind everyone in this room, we speak that language too. It is our money every month that supports landlords like Amir. His car insurance, his vacations, his TikTok houses in LA. We pay for his existence with our clocking in and out of work. Developers are foaming at the mouth to build here because people want to live here. They are not doing us a favor by providing housing. They want an investment that they believe should be guaranteed, but the value has always been us, and I am personally sick of any and all narratives implying the opposite. Landlords like Amir believe if we're forced enough to focus on our survival, we'll be too scared or too tired to notice they are a direct contributor to our struggle for survival, much less us doing something about it. I invite everyone who can hear my voice right now to go home and watch A Bug's Life. What's the saying? Money is power. We have the money. Therefore, we have the power, and the secret that they don't want us to fully understand is that there's always been more of us than them. Thank you.
The next speaker is Taylor McNair. Not here. Okay, Chantel Jennings. Not here. Jamila Bush. Bash. Sorry. Okay. All right. Well, then you're on up.
This is my first time speaking, first time dealing with the community. Some background, I'm originally from South Carolina. I'm a 1980s baby and recently have become the sole caretaker of an elderly mother who had a stroke. I moved to New York in 2015 and finally here where I currently reside in Jersey City last year. This is the closest I've come to the community feeling I grew up with. The definition of community, a group of people living in the same place or having a particular characteristic in common, but in reality, truly it is more than that. Trust, shared values, experiences, and the ability to act collectively to meet needs and influence our environment. That is what the Bergen Grand Tenant Association has become. After a long fight, we, the Bergen Grand Tenant Association, now stand ready to issue our demand letter to address outstanding issues that the landlord has turned a blind eye to. In actuality, it is a formal request for the right to be recognized as having one of the fundamental rights of safe and secure housing, more than a shelter. This right is recognized in the Universal Declaration of Human Rights and the International Covenant of Economic, Social, and Cultural Rights. I may not get names correct because I kind of just looked on what you provided as your bios. Ms. Ridley, from your background, you would recognize the toll of housing insecurity and the ever-increasing financial burden of rents racing past the outstretched fingers of your constituents' mental health. Ms. Ewings and Mr. Bongiano. From the deep roots you have with this community, you have seen the changes, good and bad, that have occurred to Jersey City. And I know you want to see the growth bend towards something sustainable and futurist. Mr. Bongiano and Mr. Sele, okay, sorry. You both have backgrounds as a Jersey City police officer and community service officer for Rutgers Police Department, respectively. You both understand the need for a well-knit community to lower the rate of crime. Mr. Solomon, you stand with those seeking the solution that is affordable housing and not developers throwing up buildings to sell off to investment groups to create real estate investment trusts or to faceless landlords hiding behind LLCs. Mr. Gilmore, you understand the wonders of thriving community, a robust community volunteers, and betters their surroundings. Mr. Rivera and Ms. DeGice, you both have ties to those who are pillars of our community, police, firefighters, teachers. If we want those who help hold up our community together, then they should have an affordable place to live. Council President Waterman, I'm sure you hold housing as a fundamental need and right. During your years of service, you may have seen people at the lowest of lows and highest of highs. Yet in order to find one's footing to be helped to become a better person, a stable home foundation is needed. Finally, I will end with this. Helen Keller asserted, alone we can do so little, together we can do so much.
The next speaker is Ariel Lefkowitz. Are you Ariel? Okay. Is this for?
All right, hello and good evening. My name is Ariel Lefkowitz. I'm speaking tonight as a resident and as a Puppy Mills policy specialist with Humane World for Animals, previously known as Humane Society of the United States. I'm here to urge this council to join 149 cities in New Jersey that ban the sale of dogs and cats in pet shops and pass a humane pet shop ordinance. Considering the brief time, I have those packets that are before you with a great amount of information, and I'll just make a few points here tonight. Now is truly the best time for Jersey City to act proactively on this issue. Because we do not have any puppy stores in town, but there is a high likelihood of some coming in if no action is taken. Recently, New York State stopped allowing the sale of puppies in pet stores, and those bad actors will look to continue accessing the New York City market from across the river. Apart from the fact that puppy stores cause numerous consumer protection and animal welfare issues, New Jersey has a pet shop law that relies on local enforcement, which can put a significant resource strain on cities. So state law requires that cities license and inspect puppy stores, obtain sourcing lists twice a year, and make those lists available via public records requests. It also falls on local animal control to field calls about sick puppies, bad in-store conditions, and disease outbreaks. And these are issues that are part and parcel, unfortunately, with puppy selling pet stores. There are many examples that I can point to that I do not have time to point to, unfortunately, tonight. But why not prevent those problems from ever affecting the city and its residents? State law also fails to protect New Jersey residents and pets. New Jersey puppy stores are using deceptive sales tactics, selling sick puppies, and engaging in predatory lending. There are folks in New Jersey who have ended up with interest rates upwards of 150%. Your packet also includes a photo library of the puppy mills that these stores are sourcing from, which are mills that are keeping dogs in condition no resident would knowingly support. That is 10 pages of evidence, and unfortunately, I do have 30 more pages that I could have provided. It's important to note that the Jersey City market would still remain open to a thriving multi-billion-dollar pet services and goods industry, and residents will continue to have humane pet sources to get the pet of their choice from. whether that be animal shelters, rescues, or responsible breeders who only ever sell directly to the public. I'm here to help however I can, including providing you with an ordinance draft that will fit into your existing code. Thank you for your time.
The next speaker is Kevin Davis. No. The next speaker is Vincent D. Terlizzi. No. The next speaker is Metmen Singh Vazdev. No. The next speaker is Bernard Shivers. No. The next speaker is Leroy Jackson. No. The next speaker is Riaz Waheed. No. The next speaker is R. Jamond Jawira. No. Craig Boyd. Joe Harkins.
Good evening, council people. Thank you for your patience. I'm here to update you on a situation that is getting more and more interesting. I'm referring to the senior building known to all Jersey City people as the Father Divine, but it is also currently the Fairmont Hotel Apartments. It is owned by a multi-billion-dollar corporation called the Ingerman Company. Last January, in your wisdom, you denied them another 30-day tax rebate. And more recently, you also denied them forgiveness of the taxes that they had not been paying. The latest development is that they have now issued 30-day eviction notices or relocation notices to 1/2 of the residents of the building so that the building can be vacated and renovated with tax money. And very interestingly, they've run into the fact that they're running out of time because they've miscalculated how much it was going to take. And if they don't get the project started soon, they're going to lose the money. Problem is that it's federally funded building. And it's required that there be a 90-day notice before they can start moving people. Yesterday, they sent a letter threatening the residents in the building that if they do not succeed in convincing the city council that the new tax abatement, which they're going to come up with, if it doesn't pass, and I'm quoting word for word, you have the document with you, they will immediately raise the rents. That's what's coming. I know you'll be well prepared for it. That's why I gave you that document that contains all these facts. And I greatly appreciate your attention to it. Thank you.
The next speaker listed here is Riaz Waheed, which I think is a duplicate. Or, no, not here. Eunice Prince. No. Anupam Verma. No. Harish Kumar. No. Nateen Sirsat. No. Satnam Singh. Mia Skengo.
Good evening, City Council. I'm here once again to talk about the Fairmont Hotel. That 30-year tax abatement was tabled, which is disheartening because I know how that works, where you could resurrect it. There was a rumor that was going to be happening tonight and then vote on it. In the interim, since the last meeting, I was able, from the city clerk's office, to get a copy of the original 30-year tax abatement. And the renovations were completed in 1995. So I think it's up by the end of the year. And from Exhibit 3, the addendum, they had a breakdown of the actual where the money was coming from. And I just want to read you these numbers because there's a lot of Jersey City taxpayer money here. They got $272,058 from the Jersey City Linkage Program. And this is money that could have been spent on other projects in the city at that time. Okay. They got federal home funds of $1,815,050. And they got CDBG funds, which I've never seen such a high number, of $828,210. So that's $2,915,318 of the total $8,373,293. That represents almost 35% of the cost of the renovation. And this was a renovation where the building had been abandoned for decades. Okay, not like now that it's only 30 years. Now, in terms of historic tax credits, which is federal, it was $5,074,617. And from the general partner, and the general partner is Brad Ingerman and his wife, right? They put in $133,358. That represents 1.59% of this entire project. Mine. God almighty. If you buy a house, they want you to put down 20%, and here he put down 1.59%. And then they took out a conventional mortgage of $250,000. What a sweetheart deal. And I do want to remind again that currently they're only paying in terms of taxes, and it's a mix of 1 bedrooms, a few studios, and a couple of 2 bedrooms, $1,769.30 a year per unit. In Jersey City, where my old house now was paying $35,000 in taxes, not even 17 feet wide, this is cheap.
That's
Okay, thank you.
There were actually 5 additional speakers who signed up after the time I printed the agenda. So number 55 is Elena Little. Not here. Number 56 is Robert Allen. No. Number 57 is Melody Lee. No. Bernadette Nardone. No. And Cheryl D.B. Murphy. Okay.
She's here for a resolution.
Okay. Okay. So you have no interest in speaking, ma'am? No, not on this. Okay.
Motion to defer.
I did hear a motion on the floor. Is that not seconded? Okay. Okay. Okay, that concludes the list of our public speakers. Our next agenda item is the list of petitions and communications. That is item 6.1 through 6.49. Unless there are any questions or comments on the petitions and communications, we can move on. Hearing none. Our next agenda item is the list of officer communications, items 7.1 through 7.8. Council members, are there any questions or comments on this agenda item? Hearing none, we will move on to the next agenda item, the report of directors, items 8.1 through 8.11. Council members, are there any questions on this? Hearing none, we'll move on to agenda item 9.1, the list of claims. Council members, are there any questions regarding the claims or the addendums? Okay, hearing none, I will now take a vote to approve the payment of the list of claims as well as addendums number 1, number 2, and number 3. How do you vote, Councilperson Ridley?
Aye.
Councilperson Hewlings?
Aye.
Councilperson Bogiano? Councilperson Saleh?
Aye.
Councilperson Solomon?
Aye.
Councilperson Gilmore?
Aye.
Councilperson DeGeez? Councilperson Rivera? And Council President Waterman. The claims and addendums 1, 2, and 3 are approved unanimously 9-0. Our next agenda item is the list of resolutions. I want to draw your attention particularly to items 10.1 and 10.2, as they would both authorize different amendments to the calendar year 2025 budget. I did provide the council with a change to the attachment that had been attached to agenda item 10.2. I did provide that to you. I also emailed the council this afternoon before the meeting. I'm not sure everyone got a chance to see that, so I did provide copies for your review. That would be a replacement for the attachment to agenda item 10.2 as was discussed at the caucus meeting. A reminder that such a resolution, resolution 10.1 or 10.2, would require 6 affirmative votes to approve. So for the sake of avoiding much confusion, I will be taking a vote on items 10.1 and then 10.2, and then we can move on to the rest of the items on the agenda. To approve agenda item 10.1, how do you wish to vote? Councilperson Ridley?
No.
Councilperson Hewlings?
No.
Councilperson Bogiano? Abstain. Councilperson Saleh?
Aye.
Councilperson Solomon?
No.
Councilperson Gilmore?
No.
Councilperson DeGeez? Councilperson Rivera? Council President Waterman? The council has voted 4 in favor, 4 oppose, and 1 abstention. Again, this would require 6 affirmative votes to pass, though agenda item 10.1 does not pass. Agenda item 10.2, the alternative resolution. How do you vote? Councilperson Ridley?
Aye.
Councilperson Hewlings?
Aye.
Councilperson Bogiano? Councilperson Saleh?
To vote no because there's only 4 months left in the year to hire staff for the Department of Infrastructure. And by the time you put out the rec ID and do interviews and get them onboarded, the year's going to be over. This money is not guaranteed money. Another administration can come in and that job for that specific engineer or engineers will not be guaranteed. There's a very specific role, and right now, if you see the economy, people are what's called job hugging. They're not leaving their jobs. So to ask an engineer to leave their current job for like a meager government salary is not going to cut it. And there's only 4 months left. So that's why I'm voting no.
Councilman Solomon?
I vote aye.
Councilman Gilmore?
Aye.
Councilperson DeGeez? Councilperson Rivera?
Abstain on this one.
And Council President Waterman? Abstain?
Yeah, because my concern is that even with the changes with the salaries, that's only for one position. It's still coming from our. Is that correct? Right, it's just one position. Based on what, because I can't get my computer up because I don't know what's happening, they ain't let me on. So if that's one position, okay, then my concern is though, based on my understanding, is then when we do hire, then we have to cover health benefits too. So where's that money coming from the health benefits? That's my concern, because these positions need to make sure that the people have health benefits too. I looked at that because all this is just like giving 50,000 to this department to hire, but then where's the money coming for the health benefits? And there's no, I don't see it in the budget. That's my concern. That's why I'm staying in it. This is get more confusing because even though we hire people, but they must be covered with benefits too. So you really like doubling, like the 50,000, doubling it so they can have the health benefits. That's what I want to know. That's not considered in here, and I saw that. And to me, it's like we're hiring people without no benefits, and that will never happen. people need benefits. That's what I wanted to know. I couldn't see that because we just pulling the money from our division, but just to hire one person. But where's the health benefit money coming from? That's my concern. Somebody could know.
Okay, well, that would mean that,
Staying. That's why
right.
I want to know where all that's coming from. I don't have an answer.
Agenda item 10.2 would also be defeated as there's only 5 votes in the affirmative.
Don? Rich and I want to change our votes.
Wait, 1 second at a time. Okay, so are we talking about this resolution or the one that just 10.1 or 10.2?
10.1. I'm changing.
Real quick, Sean. So in order for this to pass, there was a confusion. There needs to be 6 affirmative votes.
Correct.
For either 10.1 or 10.2 to pass for the budget.
Okay, so to avoid confusion, let me just recap agenda item 10.1. Okay, I'm gonna call a new vote. Okay, how do you vote on 10.1? All right, the first one, Councilperson Ridley. Well, I just want to make sure we record this correctly.
Yeah, my vote's correct.
Okay. 0.1, you're voting no. Councilperson Hewlings,
Yes.
you are voting yes. Councilperson Bogiano. Is that a yes? Yeah, can you everyone speak at the mic? So that's a yes. Okay. Councilperson Saleh,
Aye.
Councilperson Solomon.
I'm going to vote no. Let me just state a little bit because we're going through the votes again. It's never, none of these things are ever perfect, right? And there are always reasons to nitpick, to say, well, you know, if you know, this bureaucratic challenge is here, that bureaucratic challenge is there. But at the end of the day, the reality is this. I have deeply unsafe intersections in my ward. And I know that every single one of us has deeply unsafe streets and intersections in the parts of the city that they represent, or if they're the council at large, the entire city. And I have now for 2 years had those requests to study those intersections, to make them safe, to prevent a tragedy unmet. And the easy political decision would have been to just throw bombs at the administration and say, how dare they endanger the residents of Jersey City by failing to do that. But I respect that we have hardworking public servants trying to do their best with limited resources. And so what this budget attempt was to do was to try to constructively provide them with the resources. And yes, it's going to be difficult to hire engineers quickly, but for 1.5 years, we haven't had a chief engineer. So yeah, we should probably increase the salary we're offering to get a chief engineer into the city. And yes, a future mayor and administrator may change, mayor council may change the salaries. However, these salaries would be locked in at least at the start of next year. So they would have a position to go for. And city governments across the country hire civil servants, not political appointees. They hire civil servants near and after changes in administration. So if we vote down these changes, allow this $1 million to sit in the city council budget, allow it in 2 months to be reallocated by the administration to some department that overexpended their resources, not allowing the council any say in what we're doing, we are going to leave our core priorities of making our city safer and making our residents safer unmet. And if that's the choice of the council, that's the choice of the council, but it is a mistaken choice. It is the wrong decision to move forward. To be clear, we put this before the council months ago. This isn't a new amendment. Months ago this was proposed. Months ago it was brought to the administration. Months ago it was brought before all of us. And we are going to make an extraordinary error by rejecting $1 million for safer streets and additional funding for core departments, because we listened to what folks on the, we asked every council member, where do you want this money? That was asked. We put more money into landlord tenant. We put more money into the city clerk's office. We put more money into sanitation. We put more money into housing preservation. We listened because we're trying to do right by the city. And so I think that's an extraordinary error. So with that, I vote no on 10.1.
Councilperson Gilmore.
My vote's the same, John.
Okay. Councilperson DeGees. Councilperson Rivera.
Aye.
And Council President Waterman. Oh, listen. Okay.
This here is,
Right.
oh, yes, the first one. This is the second one.
Oh,
This is 10.1. We're going, okay, so that brings the vote tally up to 6 votes in favor 3 against, no abstentions. This would, under the current numbers, this would be approved. As a formality, and to make sure the record is clear, votes are obviously changing for 10.2 now, so I'm just going to recap that vote as well. To approve agenda item 10.2, what is your vote, Councilperson Ridley?
The same, yes.
Councilperson Hewlings?
No.
Councilperson Bogiano?
Oh.
Councilperson Saleh?
Vote no. If this was brought 2 years ago, I would have voted aye for it, but we're in the 11th hour and the needs from the infrastructure department, as I heard them during the budget hearing and Council President Waterman, that the money for capital projects would be helped better in that regard to help them further the projects that they were doing throughout the city. Yes, they're short-staffed, but they've been short-staffed for so long that they've gotten used to it, unfortunately, and this money is not guaranteed money, again, for next year. This is coming out of the council budget. It's going to an engineer that's gonna get onboarded by December, right? So that's not realistic, especially in this economy, so I vote no.
Councilperson Solomon?
I said my piece earlier. I vote yes.
Understand. Councilperson Gilmore?
Votes the same, Sean.
Councilperson DeGees?
I want to thank Councilman Solomon for the work that he put through, and this isn't a reflection of that, why I'm voting no. I think it's up to the next council to decide that council budget and the aid budget, as this job is very demanding. I also understand and agree with the changes that need to go to infrastructure, but I'm not confident that we're going to be able to hire an engineer, even with the increase and taking into consideration what the council president said, insurance costs are rising and that would also be affected. There's also a number of seasonal and part-time employees that were laid off. Each department is suffering with staffing. And he did try his absolute best and listen to all of the council people on where we'd like to see that money. But right now, there was just not enough to cover all of it. I vote no, but thank him.
Councilperson Rivera?
I still abstain.
And Council President Waterman?
I abstain, and the reason why, because I was concerned about the health benefits for these positions, because I know these positions are full-time. And I know when you hire somebody full-time, those benefits must be covered. And there's nothing in this budget to cover the benefits. So in reality, the people probably will not get hired. If they get hired, they may be hired part-time, which really defeats the purpose. That's what I've seen. That's why I abstained and I voted for the other one.
Okay. Agenda item 10.2 has been defeated. 3 votes for, 4 against, and 2 abstentions. To approve agenda items 10.3 through 10.9, how do you vote, Councilperson Ridley?
Aye.
Councilperson Hewlings?
Yes.
Councilperson Bogiano? Councilperson Saleh?
Aye.
Councilperson Solomon?
Aye.
Councilperson Gilmore?
Aye.
Councilperson DeGees?
Aye.
Councilperson Rivera?
Aye. Aye.
And Council President Waterman? Agenda items 10.3 through 10.9 approved 9-0. Agenda items 10.10 through 10.24, how do you vote, Councilperson Ridley?
Aye.
Councilperson Hewlings?
Aye.
Councilperson Bogiano?
Oh, on 10.10 and yes on the rest.
That's no on 10.10. Council, and yes on the rest.
Yeah.
Councilperson Saleh?
Aye.
Councilperson Solomon?
Aye, and just thank you to Mr. ABA Horton and Keith Donath for moving forward the chiller for the Pershing ice rink.
Councilperson Gilmore?
Aye.
Councilperson DeGees?
Aye.
Councilperson Rivera?
Aye.
And Council President Waterman?
Aye.
Item 10.10 approved 8-1. Items 10.11 through 10.24 approved unanimously 9-0. Agenda items 10.25 through 10.37. How do you vote, Councilperson Ridley?
Aye.
Councilperson Hewlings?
Aye.
Councilperson Bogiano?
Aye.
Councilperson Saleh?
Aye.
Councilperson Solomon,
Aye.
Councilperson Councilperson Gilmore's aye. Councilperson DeGise,
Aye.
Councilperson Rivera.
We're going up to where?
These are agenda items 10.25 through 10.37,
Aye.
and Council President Waterman. Agenda items 10.25 through 10.37 approved unanimously. And finally, agenda item 10.38, as we have already approved the two late items 39 and 40. For the last item of business, 10.38, how do you vote, Councilperson Ridley?
Aye.
Councilperson Hewlings?
Aye.
Councilperson Bogiano? Councilperson Saleh?
Aye.
Councilperson Solomon?
Aye.
Councilperson Gilmore?
Aye.
Councilperson DeGise? Councilperson Rivera?
Aye.
And Council President Waterman. Item 10.38 approved unanimously 9-0. That concludes the list of resolutions. Unless there is no other business, can I entertain a motion to adjourn?
Motion. Hold on. So sorry.
Solution
Okay.
before we close out. Go ahead.
I'll read it.
Go ahead and read it, Pam.
Hold it, you can read it.
Want me to read it? Cheryl? Resolution honoring the 30th Annual Jersey City West Indian Caribbean American Carnival. Council offered and moved adoption of the following resolution. Whereas emigration from the Caribbean region to the American colonies began as early as 1619 with the arrival of indentured workers in Jamestown, Virginia. Much like the United States, the countries of the Caribbean faced the obstacles of slavery and colonialism and struggled for independence. From 1804 through 1983, the countries in the Caribbean region finally gained their independence. And whereas Jersey City is a diverse and exciting home to many national origins, the people of the West Indies and the Caribbean are thriving communities who have risen to levels of prominence and respect. Their contributions have made a great impact in education, fine arts, business, literature, journalism, sports, fashion, politics, government, the military, music, science, technology, and in so many areas in the United States. The Jersey City statewide Caribbean Carnival Parade shares with our city and friends the rich culture and vibrancy of the West Indies and the Caribbean, which adds to Jersey City's tapestry of nations. And whereas the Jersey City West Indian Caribbean American Carnival Association, Inc., a nonprofit organized, founded by Cheryl D.B. Murphy and Rosalind Waters Maxwell in 1996, is a grassroots community organization whose members are all volunteers representing business, government, private sector, and community leaders dedicated to improving the health, educational attainment, and cultural awareness for youth, adults, and families in New Jersey. And whereas the 30th Annual Jersey City West Indian Caribbean American Carnival celebrates, fosters, and promotes a great understanding of West Indian and Caribbean culture to a wider audience. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Municipal Council of the City of Jersey City does hereby salute the people of the West Indies and Caribbean whose contributions to the economy, arts, and culture, and to the community have helped shape and move our city forward. Council members, all the council members above, as sponsored by Councilman Rich Bogiano.
Well, I won't be long because I know you all want to go home. But I have to say a pleasant good night to each and every one of you. And I just want to say thank you, thank you, thank you. Two simple words filled with lots of love, gratitude, and power. All of you are very personal to me. Each and every one of you, besides one, is a former Grand Marshal for Jersey City's Carnival. And I just want to say thank you to each and every one of you, especially to Richard. Councilman Richard has always been our troop leader from 1996. Now, he might have been a council person, but he knew me from my mom being a police officer, growing up and always tooting the horn, making sure everything is well with his baby girl, Cheryl DB Murphy. So again, thank you, each and every one of you council members, legal counsel, aides, the city of Jersey City. I do thank you for honoring us. 30 years, I'm 30 years older. And I love it because I do it for our youth. Everything I do with love, and I do it for our youth. So again, a pleasant good night. You all can go home. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Have a safe travel to your destinations. Love you. Ancestors love you, and God loves you. Ashe.
God bless you. Motion to adjourn. Oh,
Oh,
motion to adjourn.
do we get a
Motion made
picture?
by Soleil, seconded by Gilmore. By acclamation, all in favor of adjourning at 9:37 PM, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries 9-0 to adjourn at 9:37 PM. Thank you, everyone. The next meeting is September 24th at 6 PM. Until then, be well.
I know they sleepy. I left my speech short for the picture. Because you know I can talk, all right? Because that's what time